It's clobbering time!
No bloody A, B, C, or D.
It is green.
Hot milk.
I just love clobbering time! It's clobbering time!
Get those nerds! 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 What?
Clobber animal!
What he said. Hey. Hey. Welcome, everybody. And guess what? That was a cue.
Oh, was it?
We're all discombobulated.
Well, sometimes StreamYard
yes.
actually puts you
It's
into
messed
mute.
up.
And it doesn't show me that you're showing video. So sometimes I just sit here and wait for my mic to go live.
Oh, well, we got you. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Greetings. Clobberers, clobberanimals, clobberettes, clobberooskies, clobberoids, and clobberborgs, and
Clobberanimal!
And clobberanimals and clobberites and all of it. Welcome, my good friends. Welcome to Clobbering Dimes on YouTube. Episode 551 on YouTube, episode number 1251 overall, and it is Saturday Night Star Trek 113 DS9 reviews with the greatest first officer in the fleet, my wonderful our Commander R.M. Briggs. Hello there. How are you?
Hello, Captain. I love you. How are you today?
I'm great, and I'm great to see so many wonderful friends popping in.
Happy Easter, everyone. Hail
indeed.
To this marvelous chat filled with 735ers, filled with clobberanimals and clobberettes and clobberooskies.
and all points in between.
And everything in between. And for everyone who's out there who's lurking, who's just listening in as though this were a radio show.
Right.
So happy to have you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching us. And yeah, please spread the word. Don't forget to hit your notification bell. Don't forget to sub. And if you could share this stream on your socials, we would be most grateful.
Indeed, indeed. Welcome all sentient life forms out there in the known galaxy, and to everyone else, the secret is to bang the rocks together, guys. I'm sorry, this is Star Trek, not Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. But what a great crew we got popping in here. Good to see you so much. So, just so happy to see you all, everyone. I tell you what, why don't we get down to beeswax? But first, before we do, anything you want to shout out to everyone? Number one.
You know, I really would love to, and thank you so much, boss. I'm writing a second book. I am currently writing the 4th story out of 10 stories that will be in this second book. And you know what? A bunch of really incredible people have come forward to back my book, and I really appreciate it. And it helps immensely. It keeps my spirits up and really helps me. So I just want to shout out Larry, Tony Stark, Sean Carter. Of course, Sean Carter from Mars, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Chris Persia, the amazing Chris Persia, Scuba Pete and Leslie, Eric K. and the marvelously golden Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, wonderful couple, Mark D with the C, Jilly Jill, and of course, Maximum Limericks. And I just want to say again, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. I also just want to say right off the top that I love you, Clobby. And I wish that we were closer together so that our families could spend Easter together. And I'm looking forward to this evening. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to hearing all of the reviews and spending time with all of you.
Fantastic. Well said as always. Love you, number one. Let's see here. We got a great crowd with us tonight. Let's do a couple of show notes, and we will get on with the business at hand with some shout outs. But first, let's see here. Of course, goes without saying that even though it's Easter tomorrow, I should be hanging out at the Sunday Night Geekery on the great Mark D with the Cease channel, the great chief engineer. We hope he'll be popping in later. And that'll be on Sunday Night Geekery, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this Monday, a special double feature of Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk. First, at a special time, the great J-Man, my partner in crime on Earth B, will join me for another excursion into the wacky world of Bob Haney, Zany Haney presentation. Back to Earth B. This time, we will review another one of his bonkers classics. That is Brave and the Bonkers, Brave and the Bold, number 134 from 1977, with Batman and Green Lantern. We love these comics reviews. We have a blast doing them. I hope you all enjoy them as much as, I don't know if it's possible for you to enjoying them as much as J-Man as I do enjoy giving them to you, but we do have a lot of fun doing it, and I am looking forward to that Monday night. And then, of course, we'll be on at the regular time, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time for a regular show. And of course, then through the course of the week, all of my regular shows. So that we got that going for us. And then that's about it for the show notes. Obviously, how about we do some shout outs?
Let's do it.
Shouting out our friends, because first of all, starting with the Wrenches who were here with us all throughout the course of the week. And we really just cannot say enough about our extraordinary friends and Wrenches, and we do appreciate you so much. And of course, that starts with, hang on a second, I'm still getting everyone written down, folks. By the way, it distracts me sometimes. But let's see here. We got the great Eric K, the Bronze Wrencher.
Also, the deep fried chicken and potatoes and gravy maker. He's sending me photos of food, and it looks delicious. He's a very naughty boy. Also, hello to Kirby. I'm sending little chin scritchies, yes, and maybe sneaking him a bit of cheese.
There you go. Let's see here. We got of course, The great Chris Persia, Vindicator Wrench of the North. Thank you for all you do, my friend.
Hey, sweetheart.
Appreciate
Thank
you,
you so
buddy.
much for the show poster. Thank you for the shout outs on social media. We just appreciate you
everything.
more than we could ever possibly express on air. And you are the best. Thanks, baby. Mwah.
Yes. The Wrench of Iron, D. Bud Martin, who's going to be on with me soon. By the way, D. Bud, please let me know what day that is again, because you know I forget stuff. I got to double check it and get it all scheduled. When we're going to be hanging out, what date that is? Because you know my dumb memory.
That's going to be a ton of fun. That D. Bud Martin is not only an amazing wrench and an amazing friend who supports so many people in this community in varying ways, artists and makers, but he's also the resident mathematician. So that is going to be a very interesting show with a very interesting character.
We're going to review an Iron Man comic.
Ooh.
And so we're going to have fun doing that. Some Tuska time there for us. The great Lord Thoth, God of the Wrench, of course, hanging out with us, of course, always the wonderful and lovely Lady Thoth. Avon lives, and long live the Legion, buddy. And I'm glad you're here, man.
And Sir Lancethoth as well, because he is their trusty dusty baby pupper. And hello, Thoths. I just want to shout you out and say a very happy Easter to you.
There we go. April 26th. Now I know it's going to be on Tuska's birthday. I'm going to make sure I get it put into my reminder thingy. That's deep, but I promise. Appreciate you. I got to get it all scheduled and everything as well. Thank you, buddy. The Wrench Without Fear, my partner in crime on Earth B. Looking forward to hanging out with him on Earth B this week. J-Man and I will be reviewing another Bob Haney classic. The Bonkers Bob Haney is back. So thanks again, great J-Man, for being here. Hungry Boy, master of the Claboni, artist extreme and painter of the cover of Science Fiction Tales by R.M. Briggs.
Genius guy. And I think I just missed J-Man. Jason, if you're not following J-Man, please follow J-Man. He writes horror books. His wife is an award-winning poet. He is a major supporter of authors and artists and makers in this community. So please reach out to J-Man and support him. And of course, the genius artist that we all know and love. And we call him HB, like the pencil. Good evening, HB.
J-Man, put your links up, buddy. If you were so inclined. It's not an order, but if you do it, if you want to. Kal-El, the super wrench extraordinaire, buddy. It's
Real
always
soup.
Good to see you. I don't know if he's here or not, but the great Maddie's daddy, Real Rich Melania, Thor in Vegas, and of course, the Fanty Outsider, that old rascal engineer. I mean, rascal wrencher. The rascal wrencher, I should say.
He's a wascally wabbit.
Yes, he's that. All right. Well, now for some shout outs for some friends who are here in the chat, and then we'll get on with our night. We'll get on with our review, get to the reviews. We got to start out with our shout outs of our good friends who are here. Starting out with, hang on. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. Let me just make sure. Okay. I just want to make sure I have everybody so I get before I start doing this. All right. With us this evening so far, anyway, is what am I doing? Oh, all right. Sorry, everybody. Just having some trouble here. I want to get everybody written down now. Now people start popping in when I'm trying to write it all. Okay. FKHC 2005.
Hello,
Mike.
hello.
I feel like that's a code word more than a name there. FKH, thank you so much. And by the way, condolences on what you're going through. I think you said something about losing this kitty cat earlier. So,
oh no,
I think so. I think what if I'm thinking of the right person that I talked with in another chat today. So,
oh no, I'm
FKH,
so sorry.
So sorry to hear that. Let's see here. Our wonderful friend Anti-Derivative Jill is here. Our communications officer, Jilly. Let's see. Shooter's here.
Pew, 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 pew.
Raymond Feliciano.
And Sandra Feliciano. And they're from King Dolphin TV.
In color. Classic Comics. What's up, CC?
CC.
Mr. Angel. Hey there, Chef.
Evening,
Good to
Chef.
see you, Chef. Simply Steve.
Hey,
What's
nice
up?
to see you, sweetheart.
Indeed. Nice to see you. Michael Beacom, and shout out to the wonderful Cassandra.
Good evening.
Yes, indeed. Good to see you. SP Fort H.
Hello.
The great enigmatic drop bear.
The erudite bear.
AD.
I'm very much looking forward to those, well-wrought reviews. Edie really digs in and provides some of the best reviews of these episodes. So looking forward to it. Welcome, my dear friend.
Indeed. Okay. I'm getting a notification now. I'm sorry. I wanted to clear something out real quick, make sure we got this corrected. Okay. Yes. FKH 2005 is okay. I got you.
Aw.
All right. Thank you there. Yes. Yes. The kitty cat.
Not
I'm so
good.
sorry about the kitty.
Not good. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that. I get my wires crossed sometimes when I can't tell who everybody is there. Like I know, but I did see your message earlier on Facebook. I just wasn't sure who that was, so I apologize for that. But I'm glad you straightened that out for me. All right, so let's see here. Okay, I got you. I see that now. So he was just setting me straight on that. So all right, let's see here. The great JT Kirk.
JT Kirk!
What's up, buddy? Largo's Lair. Hey there.
Hello.
The wonderful Sandra Feliciano also of
King Dolphin TV.
In Color. The lovely Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Hello, beautiful. Your food. Wow. Talk about a nice salad you made today.
Wow, there you go. Keely Chow, roll that tide, buddy.
Roll Tide.
John Sager Lucas.
Right?
Herp 130.
Hooby dooby. Hooby dooby.
Doobie.
Wahoo, wahoo, wahoo.
Vic Fontaine. I feel we should sing some James Darren when Vic Fontaine.
Hey.
Midnight's Oblivion.
Good evening. Midnight's Oblivion.
Hey, Phantom Boomer. I don't know if I've seen you in here much.
Hello.
It's great to see you, Phantom Boomer. All right, welcome. As far as McKinney Draws. Hello there, McKinney.
Anthony Draws. Hi,
It's
sweetheart.
an honor. A great artist in his own right, and always honored to have you stop by, McKinney. Thank you. McKinney Draws, everybody. Please go check out his channel if you have not already. Does some great artwork on that channel, and we appreciate it. Appreciate seeing him. So let us begin, shall we? Let's start one. Basically, for those who don't know, if you're popping in for the first time, by the way, shout out to all the lurkers. Anyone lurking, we really appreciate you very much. Hey, Cassandra. Look, there's Cassandra Beacom saying hi.
Hey, beautiful.
Good to see you, my dear. I hope you are having a great night. What we do here basically is this: we've decided a few years ago on a fool's mission, but we're going to take it on because it favors the bold. To review all of real Star Trek, to boldly review it as none have ever done before. So at the beginning of 2021, my wonderful first officer and I endeavored upon this mission to review real Star Trek, the only Star Trek that matters and ever will matter, from 1966 to 2005, because nothing else after that is Star Trek.
Sorry.
Just the way it is. And to that end, the 735 Club, coined by her, reviewing all 735 aspects. We are now, let's see, of course, originally we did the original series, of course, in order. We did it all in order. The animated series, the original crew film, the TNG and the TNG films.
Yep.
And now we're just getting started. Last week was our first week into Deep Space Nine Season 6. We're doing 4 episodes a night on the regular shows. So basically, we have a reference point that we get a lot of our information from on the series. Plus, number one, we'll read you a synopsis of it. And we will review each episode accordingly. And this would be the reference point right here. It is called the Deep Space Nine Companion. And I will now turn over the helm to my wonderful first officer, and she will get us started.
Yeah, folks, this is a totally organic show that completely involves the audience. So what you're seeing in front of you, if you're listening in as though this is a radio program, there is an image on the screen, and it's of a book. And the book is called Star Trek Deep Space Nine Companion. It's written by Terry J. Erdman and a very special Star Trek author by the name of Paula M. Block. And this is the guiding text for this show. We don't use Memory Alpha, we don't use IMDb, we don't use Wikipedia, because all of that is user-generated information. Much of the trivia and behind-the-scenes stuff that is offered up there is just simply crap. There's no truth to it, or very little truth to it. So we have vetted this text. So if you are looking for any behind-the-scenes information, if you're looking for, to find out whether a rumor is true or whether it's false or what went on behind the scenes, this is definitely the book to get. And the reason being is Paula M. Block uses original source material. So she doesn't just go different places and gets information and puts it inside of a book. That's not how she goes about doing it. She goes to the people who were involved. She interviews them, she quotes them, and she tells the whole story of what was going on as far as the production is concerned, the directors, the writers, the actors. And so we definitely recommend this book.
One thing real quick, sorry. Simply Steve, that's inaccurate, my friend. We did cover all 4 TNG movies.
We did.
I don't know. He says we only did Generations and have at least even, but that's not the case. We did all 4 of them.
No, we did. Yeah, we did all 4. We definitely did all 4.
Yeah. Just wanted to clear that up, buddy.
Yeah, and so unfortunately, the problem with the Terry J. Erdman book is that he's not quite as good of an author as his wife, Paula M. Block. Insofar as her summaries are about a page, sometimes 2 paragraphs long, and they're magnificent. Like, she gets right to the point. Terry J. Erdman, on the other hand, not so much. It can take him 15 to 20 pages to get through the material. And that's just not good for a podcast. So what we're going to do is we're going to read from Wikipedia just the summary. So everybody's memory is jogged. Everybody is on the same page, so to speak, on what we're talking about. And it helps to refresh their memory of the episode if they're not watching along with us. We'll use that as a launching off point. Then the boss and I, he's, watched Star Trek for over 45 years. And I've watched Star Trek for over 45 years. We talk about it a little bit like 2 old chums. We don't talk about it beforehand. This is a completely organic show, and we give it a rating. And then we do something that used to be pretty rare on YouTube, and we're pretty proud of it. We throw it over to the chat. That's right. We involve our chat, and the chat not only gives their ratings, but they say a few words about what they think about the episode too. And you know what that creates? A beautiful organic conversation, a room full of Trekkies just talking about what they love. And so that's what this show is all about. And I think we're ready to get underway.
Yeah,
but before we
do
let's welcome Mighty Orbots.
Mighty Orbots. Hey there.
Mighty Orbots. And
Good
a
to see
gift
you.
from the Beacons.
Yeah, thank you so much, Beacons. Thank you, Michael Beacom. He says the DS9 companion treats season 6 differently. They lump the first 6 episodes together like one big story and then talk about it from page 486 to 501. Okay, well, good to know. Thank you so much, Michael. You're too kind, buddy. Really appreciate that.
Yeah,
so
everyone should keep in mind that Michael Beacom does have a copy of this fairly rare text. And so as you are seeing him commenting, you can trust the information that Michael Beacom gives because he's giving what we call in academia in-text citations. So he's going directly into that book. He's drawing information out of it, then telling you what page it is from. So you can trust the stuff that the Beacoms put up in the chat. And he's great at that.
So we're ready for our first episode?
We are,
tonight?
boss. Let's do it.
Okay, our first one tonight is Favor the Bold.
Favor the Bold is season 6, episode 5. If you're scratching your head right now and you feel a little lost because that's not what your streaming service says, that's because DS9 is infamous for having its episodes, multi-episodes, multi-parters chopped up in different ways in different countries. And streaming services don't make it any easier. So if you're confused, it is production code 529. And we all watched this for the very first time on October 27th, 1999. And now I'm going to be reading a cold read extemporaneously. I've not pre-read this from Wikipedia. Sometimes because it's user-generated material, it sucks. If it does, we will correct it. We will get through it. Stay strong. Saddle up. Lock and load. Captain Benjamin Sisko decides to retake Deep Space Nine in order to bolster sagging Federation morale. He plans a large force in order to do so, but it will take some time to assemble. The Klingon General Martok and his first officer Worf are sent to convince the Klingon High Council to send ships to join the attack. Okay, Worf is acting with Martok right now, but Worf isn't the first officer of DS9, and he's technically not the permanent first officer of Martok either. So I think that's a little overstated, but we'll continue. On Deep Space Nine, the Ferengi technician Rom is sentenced to execution for attempting to foil the Dominion's plan to destroy the minefield blocking the wormhole. The minefield is the only thing keeping Dominion reinforcements from arriving in the Gamma Quadrant. Major Kira Nerys, the Bajoran liaison officer secretly leading the resistance against the Dominion occupation, pleads for mercy for Rom with Wei Yun, the station's Dominion administrator, but to no avail. Kira persuades Tora Zial, the daughter of Cardassian Commander Dukat, to ask her father to show mercy, but he too is adamant, which distresses her belief that her father was a man of peace. That's a nonsense sentence, but we're going to keep going. Security Officer Odo is no help. He is seduced by an offer to return to his people, the shape-shifting founder of the Dominion, and has lost interest in station affairs. Cardassian Officer Damar lets slip to the bartender Quark that the minefield will be eliminated in about a week. He doesn't let it slip. He's an alcoholic. He drinks quite a lot. He gets inordinately inebriated, and that's how Quark wiggled it out of him. Quark keeps the canar flowing in order to get information. Quark passes this intelligence to Kira's resistance and Sisko's son Jake, who remained on the station when the Dominion seized control of it, is able to sneak a message to his father alerting him to the minefield's impending destruction. Once again, wow, this composition. Dukat tries to get his daughter to be by his side for what seems to be impending success through Damar, but it leads to Kira punching him out when Zial refuses. Sisko realizes that he must take the station now, though his fleet is nowhere near large enough. You know, his fleet just isn't large enough. Sorry. With a fleet consisting of 600 vessels, nuclear vessels, kidding. Sisko arrives near Deep Space Nine facing the Cardassian Dominion fleet of 1,254 ships. He turns to his crew and says, "There's an old saying, fortune favors the bold. I guess we're about to find out," as the operation begins. So that was some pretty crap writing, and now I'm going to turn it over to the boss. Boss, captain, my captain, mon capitaine. What did you think of this episode?
So this was the cliffhanger, right? You there? I think I lost you.
Well, it involves a cliff, and,
right.
And hanging off of it might be a good idea.
Oh, wow. It's all set up for the, let's see. It was all set up for the finale of this big, like, 6, almost 7-parter, right? I don't know. There was things in here that kind of aggravated me a little bit with what was going on with Odo, kind of, and some of it was stretch. But on the whole, it was just sort of another kick the can down the episode, a little bit of filler. some interesting stuff here and there, some pretty good stuff with this, what was going on when we were actually dealing with the actual business of what's going on with the ship, the fleet, and everything. But I don't have a strong opinion of the episode one way or the other than it was kind of moving the goalpost down to that last, to the finale of this long story here.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead with your notes.
Odo has a 3-day SEX romp with the creepy lady.
God.
Sorry, I have to do that, folks. You know, I do. I am a college educator, so you know, I'm not, you know, acting like an idiot here. It's just we have to get past the algorithm, and I know it's very juvenile and tiresome, but it's necessary. So, Odo has a 3-day SEX romp with the creepy lady. Barf. To show her how humans do it, like they actually take human form to do it the way humans do it. I underlined weird and barf several times and used superfluous exclamation points. Lita's whimper makes me want to claw my own eyes out.
Oh God, we gotta clip that.
And then head desk, and then we have Ram. Definitely that happens here. It happens again and again. Kira boxes Damar, beats him up, black and blue, knocks him unconscious. You know, she's about 125, maybe 130 pounds.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going to apologize for that. Like, I realize that might upset some people, but I don't care. I actually don't care. You know, when somebody is, you know, 5'11", 6'1", 6'2", and he's a dude, and you're like a little feminine, super sexy, tiny little chick, you know, I'm sorry, I just don't believe that one punch done. Sorry. The female founder uses Odo as an SEX boy. And it's very clear. I mean, she even like sends him back to the room. He's like, you know, you need to go back to my quarters. It's just, it's so gross. You know, Salome Jens, I think, is like 63 or 64 years old here. And even with all the makeup, you could tell like she's an aged lady, you know, and it's just gross. Anyways, he spends all of his days for all this time just having SEX with the creepy old lady that looks like a sea cucumber, only brown.
Oh God.
More war, no science fiction. And I would also like to point out, as an author, as somebody with a degree, a university degree in writing,
right?
There's nothing happens in this episode.
No, it was just filling up time.
Nothing. What happened in this episode? Go ahead, tell me.
Oh, Rom happened. Yeah.
Rom
happened.
What?
And then there was Changeling's SEX, as you like to say.
Yeah,
that was thrilling.
You know, like, and it's so gross because she's sitting on the she has her legs on the end of the bed, and she's like, so that's how they do it.
Oh, that scene made me want to jump off of something.
You know what I mean? Head desk.
Crap. It was just,
you know,
I guess it was the 90s.
Sea cucumber sexy time, according to HB, and I agree.
You kill me every time you do that again.
Boss, this is bad.
Yeah.
Chef says, do me a solid. I mean, come on. What do these people want from us?
Jesus Christ.
You know, I want to make the listeners happy.
God.
I want to be like, oh, this is great. But it's not. It's not.
Oh. Well, you're not getting an argument out of me. It was just pretty boring, dull. I mean, I just didn't really. I guess I didn't get offended by it or annoyed. I do agree with you that scene when they're, you know, when it's clear they just, you know, what they just did. I was like, and I've always felt this way about that scene. I'm like, ugh, God Almighty, did we need to see that? I mean, I know we didn't see anything explicit, but did we need to even know this?
No.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't need to know it. I mean, if you did need to look, if that's something you guys were curious about, then that's cool. I'm not going to argue with you. But I was never needing this to know that Odo, like, The episode not too long ago when he had sex with the really hot chick. I'm sorry, I'm a dude. That even if it may have been dumb, look, I can't blame him. She was a hottie. And again, it wasn't explicit or anything. They were just laying there and it was just boring. But I'm down with that because she was hot. This, your changelings. Why?
When it was the girl, like when it was the sexy woman who was like basically like the highest like agent, spy or whatever, working for the government or whatever, okay, like you imagine that he shows her what non-corporeal love is, and so it feels transcendent, it feels beautiful, it feels passionate, and there's an innocence and a beauty to it. So you're kind of like, okay, this is nice. I don't mind going here. I mean, it's not like this is my favorite thing about science fiction, the coochie coo, but I'm okay with it if it's done well. But this one, not only are they having that non-corporeal, whatever you want to call it, but then they assign a special day where she is instructed by him on how humans, even though it's not a human, it's a solid, but I forget what race it is, do the nasty. And so it's explicit here when she's sitting on the edge of the bed that Odo showed her the golden Dan. And I'm good. I'm tapping out at this point. You know what I mean? You all heard of Steely Dan. You guys know I make that joke in BSG. This is the golden Dan. It's absolutely horrifying. Horrifying.
I guess I'm a sucker for you doing that. I never laughed at that noise before until you started doing it. For some reason, it's you doing it. I don't know why. Holy shit. Okay. So I just thought it was mostly, it was filler setup. It was again kicking the can down for the road.
Dave!
Hey Dave. Are you Dave C now? Changed your name a little bit there, did you? Oh, if you can do someone needs to clip that. When the I'm gonna give you when Lita does that, it is really freaking holy crap. See, you gotta understand something there, buddy. We can be talking about my favorite episode of something in the world, and if somebody hates it, but they're funny when they hate it, I won't care. I'm gonna laugh. I can't help it, man. And I'm that way. I don't really disagree with her, but I can disagree with her 100%, thinking it's the best episode ever, and I would still be laughing just as much. She's killing me with this stuff.
It's so bad. It's so bad. And there's no story.
Oh.
I just want to ask the chat. Chat, don't write War and Peace in the chat. Don't write me like a 1,200 word essay or anything, but just give me in 2 words. In 2 words, tell me what this episode was about.
Well, they'll give reviews.
I know, but boss, Captain, this is a show about nothing.
It's filler stuff, which they do a lot. Again, they had a lot of episodes to stretch out. So, what Michael Beacom say something about? Look, the level of pornography available in the 21st century, let alone 23rd. The one thing aliens should have no questions about are Homo sapiens copulation. No, that's a good point there, actually. Now that you think about it.
Oh, D. Bud Martin, you get an A+. You now have a 4.0 GPA. I love you very much. D. Bud Martin has provided the 2 words and completely ended the query. This episode is about ellipses. The next episode. Done. Boss, are you there? Boss, are you there? I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but before I couldn't. Good evening, Parker Luck. What's that, Matt Bird?
Parker Luck. What's that Matt Bird? I've never seen her name that long. That's amazing. May I call you just Parker Luck for short?
I love you, Chris Persia.
I'm wondering if he says, I wonder if the character of Damar was showing that he was starting to change his thoughts of being sided with the Dominion by getting over drunk at Quark's. That's a good point. You never know, because we know what. We won't spoiler about what happens with him later. But Parker Luck, I don't know. That's not a bad process. The thought process.
I said, Dave Bob's here.
Dave Bob, buddy, what's up, bro? Good to see you. And yes, Dave, this can never be said enough. Just drop by to say P Hard Season 3 sucks, because it does. Thank you, sir. Someone has to keep saying it. Although we're not here to talk. Don't worry, everyone. We're not talking about that here tonight. But I don't mind when Dave Bob pops by to say it, because it needs to be said more often. It's not said enough. Sean Carter, what's up, brother?
Sean Carter from Mars.
Well, let's ditch this episode. We've spent way too much time on it. Let's start wrapping this one up here. Episode that is.
Okay, so I gave this a pretty high rating because I feel like I'm like my brutal honesty might be hurting feelings, and I feel bad about it.
No! I don't want you doing that. If you hate an episode, I don't care. I don't care if you have to give. If you hated City on the Edge of Forever and you wanted to give it an F, you should be able to do it. If you think the freaking Cloud Minders or the Children Shall Lead or pick the worst episode of any of TNG is the best one and you want to give it an A, do it. That's the way we roll around here. We got to set that example. Everyone here can put any opinion they want on anything. Now, even if we tease you about it, don't worry about that. You have to be honest about your rating. I demand that from my officers.
Okay. So because of the weird Golden Dan and the weird constant sex with the creepy old lady that looks like a brown sea cucumber, and for Lita's whimper, and for Ram, and for Kira beating up Damar with like multiple punches, no kicks, just like she just punched him and it was like that was it. He was down. She's so powerful. She's powerful. Yeah. And for it not being about anything, it's a D. It's a D.
Well, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. I was I don't know, it just didn't really bother me. Some of the stuff I thought of it was some of the drama that was kind of okay. I gave it a what did I give it? I wrote it down before. I gave it a C minus. I think you got to really piss me off to really make me get lower down over there, and I didn't get angry with the episode. That stuff with them in the bed there, yeah. So, but look, I totally understand where you're coming from. And
so
now
that's how the solids do it.
Oh my God! Now I'm gonna
what?
Wow! Jesus Christ! All right, everybody. Holy shit! Okay, look. But let me tell you something. Anything we ever say, Markel, myself, or anyone else says, never let that color your opinion on anything. You give the rating you want to give. You give the review you want to give. And now I'm asking for you to come across with your reviews of this episode, and we will start reading them accordingly. And yes, Mark D, please proceed with that. Thank you, buddy. Because, there are a lot of worse episodes than this for me. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, there are, but it's just, I don't know.
No, I got you.
You could just add this one to the pile. The pile of doo-doo.
Go for it. Let me start.
I'm filling up your starred folder now, boss.
Thank you. And we have the great Raven Feliciano with King Dolphin TV says, B, the upcoming Operation Changelings Burpees, 5 words. Thank you, Raymond. Classic Comics says, grade B, I like the Dominion War story. It's not perfect, but overall, I think they did a good job with it. The minefield going down raises the stakes nicely. I got to find your next one there, buddy. Hang on a second. I was genuinely uncertain that they would retake the station in this battle. Odo being an F-boy simp is kind of hilarious. This episode is mostly set up. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, right. And the F boy thing is really annoying to me. Also, boss,
Yes.
Wolfie just walked through the door.
Wolfie's here. Wolfie. All righty. Good to see you. All right. Always great to see Wolfie. A little odd how the cast are running a resistance cell fairly openly. Wouldn't Ducat been watching them more closely or have their quarters bugged or something? Overall, okay, but a bit slow. Yeah, I was wondering that myself there, CC. Honestly, yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I do hear where you're coming from, sir. The great. Where is it? Oh, I'll keep. I messed up. Let me. All right, we go with our wonderful friend, anti-derivative Spartacus. Wow, Jill is now Spartacus. My goodness. Okay, Jill. Jill says A. Jill likes this one. Says A. She says DS9 finds its voice in the midst of the war with this incredibly well-paced and exciting two-parter, giving an appropriate balance to the perspectives of both sides. Odo and the female changeling link again and doesn't recognize the. I think she means does not recognize the passage of 3 days. Ew. Fortunately, the seeds are planted in this episode for Odo to see how manipulated he is. The storytelling. Hang on a second. The storytelling presents the clear goal of destroying the anti-graviton beam and retaking DS9, allowing for the great character development, including Quark's bartending skills working on Damar. Yeah, there are a lot of good bits with character stuff in this one. And speaking of, I have nothing real to offer in repeating this, but I love when Damar is an aggressive jerk to Kiao. I think he means Ziao. And Kira knocks him out. He's drunk, half off his balance. I believe it. Okay. It's a fair call. Garrick, on the contrary, I always hope for the best. Experienced, unfortunately, has taught me to expect the worst. Thank you, Jill. Love you. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Mr. Angel. Chef says, mystery rating. I have to be honest here. I am drawing a blank on the episode. Can't rate what I can't remember. Memory file not found. I must not have seen it. Oh, that's fair. That's a fair cop, Chef. Don't worry about it. The great Eric K says, D. Kira must be enhanced, or people from Bajor have superhuman strength. Changeling sex. Odo. Show her the Eternals of a humanoid first. Sure. Cringy 3 days of gooey time.
Right.
Odo could never be trusted. Odo could never be trusted. Yeah.
Fine.
Why is Naga Cadet newly promoted even on the bridge? He has no experience in a battle of this importance. He is conveying orders to the whole fleet. So many cringy to count.
Right.
I hear you, man.
I know. I couldn't even get started on it because, Eric, I was just going to get on a roll. Like, everyone already knows. Everyone's already heard me complain about destroying Odo. You know, Odo is supposed to be this hyper-intelligent person with almost like a chess-like way of thinking in anticipating the way that criminals behave, the way that people around him will behave. And all of a sudden, he's a nincompoop and he's an F-boy. And now he's just sitting around waiting for the brown sea cucumber to show her the golden den. I don't get it. They're ruining the character for me. And I can't condone it. It's bad. It's bad.
Oh, shit. Shooter, says B. Dax couldn't see the large battle plan with DS9 in the center of it when chiding Cisco on the need for a powerful victory. How cute is Lita's wine? He thinks it's cute. Well, she is cute. This episode takes the last 4 episodes and builds on them in preparation for the finale in the next episode. I feel like this is a chessboard with the pieces being set up for a satisfying win.
Shooter, I love the way that you view women. I feel like her little whimper. I think that says a lot about you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Enigmatic Drop Bear says D plus. Odo is enraptured for 3 days with a mama founder MILF while war wages around them, and Odo's therefore closest friend. Sorry, that's me being sorry about that, Edie. I'm going to try to go too fast. Plans are thwarted, and they're locked up to be executed. Hang on, I'll try better. Odo was clearly well positioned to prevent the destruction of the minefield, so tying him up in this way was nothing more than a plot contrivance to facilitate artificial tension. Agreed.
Yeah.
On the plus side, it was great to see Morn using that immense strategic mind of his to conceive a method for communicating the Dominion's plans to the Federation. I like it. I know it was just a coincidence. It wasn't his idea. He was already sending a message to his mother, but looking at it as a strategic move makes it even ever so slightly less cliched. Indeed, it's this. Indeed. Thank you so much, ED. Absolutely.
I hear you, Shooter, but I still think that it's very manly and very sweet what you said. It's kind of hard to articulate on air, but for a man to hear a woman whimper in disappointment and then think that it's adorable, it speaks volumes about how you view women and shows your heart. It sounds to me as though you are very kind and so really, really sweet.
We have a treat for everybody, thanks to the great Mark D with a C, who is hanging out with us. He's helping us with some engineering here. And thank you, dude. Appreciate that. If you want to pop in and say hello, you can for a second. It's up to you. Let's see here. Hey, dude. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I just want to say, yeah, I'll pop back out. But yeah, I got some special treats for you. But like this one here, I can't resist. So we're gonna use that one a lot. And there's two more you can play. There's the ORAM and then there's a montage. I had not enough time at work, I guess, and I decided to do it on my lunch break. But I had to put those together. So and then there's a special new CLOBBERIN, which has a quadruple. So whenever you feel the need for that, and I'm gonna pop out now. But say hi. But
thanks,
it might kill people. But all right,
we'll try.
Catch you later.
Pop in later. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Okay, we got to. Here we go again. All right, so.
Oh, Ron.
Oh well. Oh, that one.
Oh, Ron.
Simply Steve says D minus. Odo no helpo. It's RD2. It's RD2. Okay. Or 3. With the old cucumber again. Romeo, Dominion more intensifies. Gee, you think? Not much sci-fi, bland episode all around raspberry. Simply Steve.
Captain Infinity is here, boss.
Hey, Captain Infinity and beyond. What's up, Cap? I hope you are doing well, my friend, Master of Time. Timus Maximus is here. All right, Wolfie says, rating B. The Damar ass beating was a long time coming. I love the storyline about how Dukat is pulling Damar off of important strategic battle plans to get his kid to obey. Gotcha. Kal-El, Stephen M, rather. Kal-El says B+. This episode does a good enough job of continuing the Dominion War storyline, which is why it gets a higher rating than it probably truly deserves. Once again, Odo is mishandled by the writers. Not only is he preoccupied, quote unquote, with linking with the female changeling, he's resorted to more unsavory, morally objectionable behaviors as well with her.
Yep.
It's only one. It's only with the female changeling. It's only when the female changeling makes a remark about forcing the solids to give up their freedoms for their own good that Odo finally wakes up to what the founders truly are. I enjoyed the Federation plot of the episode, however, with Cisco finally taking the initiative to retake DS9 and ultimately getting the proper support to put the plan into action. The brief but lighthearted banter between O'Brien and Nog regarding the latter's recent promotion had just the right amount of levity to an overall tense situation. Excuse me here. This episode had a somewhat decent story overall, but the way Odo is portrayed in the episode prevents it from being the A or even the A+ rating category for me. Thank you so much, Cal. Well said as always, my friend.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I find it really upsetting. That's why I can't pass it. It's, I really like Odo, and you think that he's the rock. He's that rock character that everyone can count on. And the ocean just crashes into that rock, and that rock is steady. And here it's like, I don't know. He evacuates all of his mental and emotional faculties, and then they suddenly return to him. It's just weird. It's not good writing. It's just not.
The great Lord Thoth says, D, so much wrong. I don't know where to start. I'd forgotten how many bad episodes were in DS9. Yeah, me too. I think I kind of did too. JT Kirk says 6.9 bottles of Kanar with Kamar out of 10. Changeling Spurpees, as Odo can't use protection
right
in the so-called great length. Not a great way to kick off a season. I don't care how many parts follow it.
I love you, JT
Good
Kirk.
part. Very good part.
Hungry Boy is now calling what the sea cucumber was doing with Odo the ooze schmooze.
Oh, God. Man, we got to get this, man. We got to this episode out of our way. God, I got to get away from this one. C for Phantom Outsider. It was a placeholder, very little more. It had the seminal moment of the 24th century where the changelings redefined the old phrase, do me a solid. Good one, Fanty. Was waiting for an Odo to go, you mean, hang on. Nothing, you mean nothing to me, and I faked everything. And the lady changeling heads off to a bucket to sulk. Of course, you have to attack with a smaller force because reasons, like the CGI guys only wanted to do. Oh, he's got a third one.
That's he raises a good point too about that also, because at one point Odo says that he got rid of the bed because now that he's a changeling again, there's no way if he actually relaxed and if he laid down on the bed, he would just turn into a gelatinous state and just basically slide off the bed. So it's weird that the bed is back. But anyway, I'm not going to poke holes in all of the holes because the holes are there for the Swiss cheesiness that they are. So I'm just going to be quiet. Sorry.
The thing, and by the way, Fanty, see, look, you put 1 of 2 on that one, then you put 2 of 3 on that one, so it's confusing. That's how third parts don't get read sometimes by mistake, because so just letting you know. But we got your third part here. Do so many ships and wouldn't work weekends. We need 1,500 ships. We'll do 650. Deal with it. SFX jerks, writers, and they win. Anyways, maybe tune in next week to find out. Lol. All right.
Nirata Naxamanda Bear is here.
Oh, that's an old friend from the past. Hey there.
Hello, sweetheart.
Nirat. Hey there. It's been a while, but it's good to see you. All right. Dadman Walking says, hey, I give this a C+. We'll be lurking, feeling drained tonight, and we'll be lurking. Love you guys. Love you back there,
Love
Dadman.
you too, Dadman Clan.
Eric K said, reviewing DS9, you start to wonder why so many people say it's the best of all Trek. I'm there. I'm there with you. Lisa says C-. Filler episode. Wink, wink. Odo and frumpy version of Odo experimented with solid linking. Funny bed looked still made. Episodes set up tactical plan to take back Deep Space Nine. MacGuffin. She says that. Michael Beacom says D+, a show that is basically just setting up for episodes to come. Interesting, great special effects, but in the service of an inferior plot. They don't even try to wrap things up because they know that it's all wrapping it up a couple of more episodes. She trashes my respect for Odo, though. Sex in Space, please. Well, yeah. It's old territory for literary sci-fi. Yeah. Still new ground for the tube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Eric. You're too kind, but I appreciate that. The $5 super chat. He says, Raquel, Odo took Rom Space Knight's bed. Lita does not need a big one anymore.
Wow. Imagine if that were true. Odo walks up to the door, knocks on it. No, Rom's in jail, so he'd have to go up to Rom in jail and be like, "Hey, Rom, the brown sea cucumber and I want to see how the solid's doing. Can I borrow Lita's bed?" And then you could hear Lita all the way from Bajor.
Yep.
And I'm sorry. It's just too funny.
Our great chief engineer says D. The episode favors the filler. Yep. Too much setup and not enough action. Plus, Odo has lost all interest in the rebellion due to the urge of merge. Yepper. That was part 1. He loses his way, and this really damages his character. At least we can get some cool shots of ships, especially in the fan upscale version. I haven't seen that one. Wow, pretty cool though. But I will say this for you. All right.
It's so bad.
The chief engineer outdoes himself again. Captain Finley gave
bad. D. Bud Martin has probably run out of the room with his fingers in his ears.
Well, shall we get to the next episode? Can we leave this one alone? May we advance? Yeah. All right, let's get out of here. All right, everyone. The next episode is Sacrifice of Angels.
Yeah, Sacrifice of Angels is a season 6, episode 6. If that doesn't line up, just know it's prod code 530. I have a tickle in my throat. Excuse me, everyone.
Me too.
Sorry about that, everyone.
JT Kirk.
From all the laughing.
Thank you, JT Kirk, for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you. He says Raquel's Lita noises are perfect. Chances we will see a Raquel Lita cosplay in the future. Alamaram.
Maybe.
Well,
I
who
could
knows?
do it. Well, but Lita has very short hair, and I have very long hair, so I would need a wig.
You don't need that. You don't need that.
Let's do it. Okay, so we all watched this for the very first time, and thank you for sending that to the comic book shop, JT Kirk. We all watched this for the very first time on November 3rd, 1997. And now let's stay copyright compliant, shall we? I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia extemporaneously, and it's not well wrought. So saddle up, lock and load. With 8 hours before the minefield is destroyed, Sisko's fleet engages the Dominion fleet defending DS9. Sisko orders Federation fighters to engage the Cardassian warships, hoping the less disciplined Cardassians will break formation and create a hole in the Dominion lines. Aboard DS9, Dukat sees through Sisko's ruse. He deliberately allows some of his ships to open a hole in the formation to set a trap for the Federation fleet. Aware that Dukat is setting a trap, Sisko nonetheless orders his ships forward, desperate to reach the station. Meanwhile, Dukat's aide, Damar, arrests Kira, Sisko's son Jake, and Rom's wife, Lita, correctly surmising they are a part of a conspiracy against Dominion rule. The visiting changeling, attempting to break Odo's bond with the solids and return him to his own people, tells Odo of Kira's arrest. As the Federation fleet becomes overwhelmed, a Klingon fleet arrives and flanks the Dominion. They clear a path for the Defiant, though the rest of the Allied ships are unable to follow. Rom's brother Quark and Ducat's daughter Zial free Jake, Kira, Rom, and Lita from jail. Kira and Rom set off to sabotage the station's weapons. They are cornered by Dominion soldiers, but are rescued by Odo and his security team. Rom disables the weapons, but seconds too late to prevent the destruction of the minefield. Sisko orders the Defiant into the wormhole, where they encounter a massive Dominion fleet. As Sisko prepares for a desperate suicide mission, I shouldn't have read that. That's going to mess up the algorithm. He receives a vision from the Bajoran prophets, the powerful aliens who live in the wormhole, who are upset that he intends to sacrifice himself before fulfilling their purposes. Sisko leads them to help the Bajorans, who create a religion around them. The prophets cause the Dominion ships to vanish, but warn Sisko that a penance will be exacted. The Defiant exits the wormhole and fires on the station, which cannot respond due to Rom's sabotage. Meanwhile, the Klingons and Federation have outflanked the Dominion fleet, with 200 ships heading for Deep Space Nine. The Dominion evacuates, but Zial refuses to leave, confessing to her father that she helped Kira and her friends escape. Damar overhears her confession and shoots her as the enemy of the state. Ducat collapses in grief as she dies in his arms. By the time Sisko arrives to the station, Ducat is in a holding cell, sobbing over the loss of his daughter. As he is escorted to the infirmary, he returns Captain Sisko's baseball. And that is all Wikipedia has to say about Sacrifice of Angels. What did you think of this episode, boss?
Well, I thought this one was definitely better than the last one. I mean, like it was more just for excitement, and it was down to business because it was time to wrap up their little long, overlong little story arc, and it does a decent job of wrapping up. Look, bad things are going to happen. We know how these shows work. They never kill off. They rarely kill off regulars, so they got to build up certain characters that are recurring so they can kill them off and kill them for shock value. And it was a shame doing that to Zial, but having a scumbag like Damar do it is certainly disturbing. It was a tough scene. That of course but it does set into motion things they're going to be doing with the character of Ducat. So it's fine. I mean, it's not fine. You never like to see any character, sweet, even though it's fiction, a sweet, character like that getting killed. So that was terrible, but it handles it. I thought the drama's pretty good. Sure, you could definitely make some criticisms. It was all a bit pat. It was all a little bit, convenient. However, it's a pretty good for this what this show is supposed to be, which is drama and thriller and space action and war and intrigue and all that stuff. It's a good, solid, and character-wise entertaining episode, I think, overall, personally.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't think it's science fiction, but I do think I think this episode is a vast improvement over the last one.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, it's just okay. Yeah.
Notes?
I don't like some anti-Star Trek stuff in here. So the founders are xenophobic. They're openly xenophobic in this episode. And the Cardassians are xenophobic. They're openly xenophobic in the episode. Yeah. All of the dialogue is based on megalomania and warmongering. We have a lot of pew-pew. We have a jailbreak. We have another. Oh,
I don't mind when it's not the Federation being that way, for me anyway. The point is when the Federation are that way, is I can't.
Yeah, and I agree. But for me, I just think it's quite a lot. You know what I mean? It's quite a lot to bear because it's coming from all sides, and it's not like it's being implied. They're actually saying it. And it's going to get worse when we get into the next episode where she literally comes out and says it, right? So it's
they're evil. Yeah.
It's a lot, right? It's just a lot. Anyway, so right. Odo the F boy has a total reversal in behavior for absolutely no reason. So the SEX boy, the F boy, yeah, just totally reverses for no reason.
Oh shit.
When all hope is lost, the wormhole gods step in. So obviously, there are a lot of people in literature and in literary theory who are going to use a lot of Latin here to talk about the god and the machine. I'm terrible with Latin. I hate Latin. It's Deus ex machina or
Deus Machina or whatever.
yeah, whatever.
Deus,
Actually the Greek term predates the Latin term. But anyways, it just simply means that when you have no way to move your story forward or resolve your story because you have created so much risk, so much intrigue, so
Divine
much danger
intervention.
that there's no way to get out of it, you have to
Right.
call on God to come
Yeah.
and fix it for you. So it's pretty obvious that that's on display here, right? We literally have gods in the machine, literally. And so the gods kill all of the enemies at Cisco's request. And so once again, if you're talking literary theory, definitely a whole bunch of literary people and people involved with literature would just and film studies would jump all over this immediately and say, okay, you had no way of resolving your story, so you brought in God to save the day. Bravo, let me slow clap for you. So it's not actually a good practice when you're a writer. Obviously, it has to happen sometimes, but you're really looking for something like that to happen in a Greek tragedy or something. You're not really looking for it to happen in something this involved. Anyway,
Well, yeah, I kept hearing the prophet saying to Cisco, "If you go to Zahadum, you will die," because it's the same damn thing.
yeah, it's bad, and so it's not good writing, and the thing is like I don't want to hurt people's feelings. Like I'm aware, like I've gone around and looked on the internet. I am aware that people rate this the third best DS9 episode in the history of DS9.
This one?
I'm aware that critics give this a 9 out of 10. Some critics give it a
Wow.
10 out of 10. I'm aware of that. I understand. But I don't know where these critics are coming from. I don't know what their discipline is. I don't know if they went to university and took film studies. I don't know if they ever studied literature or how literature is supposed to work. But if you build a story up to the point where you don't know how to resolve it, so you have to pull in a god, it's generally thought of as a huge letdown by the viewer, by the audience. So what can I say? I don't want to upset people, but these are the facts, people. Lenrod's here. Hey, Lenrod.
Hey, Lenrod, welcome.
Yeah. Then we have Damar shooting Zial. At this point, I'm kind of happy to see the end of the Zial character. We get to have Damar do something that's terrible. So it ups the ante for how much we hate Damar. But at the same time, we had a character who was like, I don't know, like younger than Jake, and a very, very young girl, prepubescent, basically just 2 years before. And then they changed the character to make her older so they could age her so that she could be with someone who is around 40 years older than her. So I'm happy to see the end of the Zial with Grampy Pampies there. That's not good.
Grampy
Pampies. and using it as a means in which to show us just how evil Damar is, right?
Right.
Yeah, Grampy Pampies. I mean, basically, like a couple of seasons ago, she's prepubescent, and now all of a sudden, 40-year-old guy 40 years older than her in the Obsidian Order. Anyway. And then we get into some wedding talk. And then of course, this is the beginning of Ducat snaps his crayons. This is where Ducat is no longer Ducat. The trauma of losing his daughter is just too much for him. I love Marco Alamo. Sorry, I don't have his name written down in front of me. I think he's great. And I think we could have spent a little bit more time on that. And I think that it's kind of sad and a letdown to have the God in the Machine. And so I put, this is a nice drama. We have some good action. This is not sci-fi. This is definitely not Star Trek. And that's all I put in my notes, boss.
The
Hey, the Woke Breaker.
Gotcha. The Woke Breaker. Hey there. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you are well. Gotcha. No, well done. Well said. Yeah, I'm with you there. I thought it was, again, it's a fairly entertaining episode. And as soon as we got to the point where they failed just by like a couple of seconds to shut the thing down, and Cisco takes the thing into the wormhole, you know what's going to happen. And it just worked better on B5 the way they did it with the Vorlons and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. It just doesn't. There's I'll give him this. It's not the first time something like this has happened in Star Trek. Although it was different in Errand of Mercy. They didn't destroy one of the other fleets. Mm-hmm. They just if they had, because didn't they destroy the Shemadar ships? If they had just shut the wormhole back down and sent them out, maybe that would have been something better than them really taking a side like they did. So, because again, so there's precedent for it in Star Trek what the Organians did, but this was something a bit different. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It is kind of a cheat, but in a sense, though, it's not that bad, because if the wormhole aliens don't do it, again, by the way, I wish this show never went that way with the wormhole aliens, but if they didn't, then the show would be bogged down for the entirety of the next 2 seasons in the war, where the war will be there, but they'll be doing at least some other types of stories for a while. This allows them to get away from the war a little bit, it'd be nice to get away, a little break from the war a little bit, and which the show will benefit from, in my opinion, going forward. So there's that, yeah, again, I'm not saying it's a good idea to do what they did. I agree with you, but it does kind of push the show in a better direction, I think. So, what is your rating of Sacrifice of Angels?
Well, just quick reflection on what you said. I totally agree with you. I actually don't even mind when they involve a god or a godlike species in a plot. But the thing is if you build up the human to human, or mortal to mortal violence, to a point of war, and then it must be solved by a god, I think that's a very specific situation.
Yes.
Whereas in original Star Trek, you can introduce godlike creatures who want people to fight. They're capricious gods. They're like the pantheon of gods, and they're sort of like Viking or Greek gods, where they're meddling in affairs, and that can be interesting. But I think that it's very specific if you have human on human war, and then you have a god, nature unknown, to solve the problem for you. I think it's weak writing. I think that if the wormhole aliens, if we knew more of them and we didn't think of them as gods, that would solve this. We could also solve it by originally involving the wormhole aliens. Like the wormhole aliens say, if you go to war with them, we'll do this. That also solves it. But this is just, like I said, that just one of those incidents where it's like, it's so blatant that for me, it's unforgivable, because it's exactly like you said. And I totally agree with you. In science fiction, you do need to play with that idea, but you have to be really clever about it, to the point where people will argue with you about whether or not it is God in the machine, when it is totally God in the machine, God preventing war amongst mortals. Oh, it's so bad. Anyway, I have to give this a C+. I realize that a lot of people are going to be really angry at me about this. I realize, like I said, I understand that there are all these people out on the internet. I don't know what their education is. I don't know what they're involved with, who consider this actually like perfect or peak Star Trek. It's not. Sorry. C+.
Yeah, I give it a B-, and I'm fairly confident in that. I mean, which is not a bad rating. It means I thought it was fairly well done, and it moves very well, and it gets the job done for this episode. So I think that's certainly with my only. Again, it would get a little bit higher if I wasn't if I were less than, we're like a little bit more thrilled with what the whole solution was for in terms of getting the aliens to finish this up, to help them and stuff like that. Although it does make sense in some ways. So again, it's just it'll be nice to, well, I would think it would be nice to move on from this, but sometimes you've got to be careful for what you wish for. But more on that later. All right, everyone. My dear friends out there in the chat, please now come across with your ratings of Sacrifice of Angels and any words you may have on this episode. Go.
Fire at will, everyone.
Yes. And fire and hit Will right in the face. All righty. So here we goes. Let me get started here. The great Kal-El says, Stephen M says, A-. This episode was a great follow-up to the previous one with an overall satisfying conclusion. Despite the desperate but successful plea that Sisko makes to the Bajoran prophets, this episode was action-packed and had some of the best space combat scenes in Star Trek that I've ever seen. Ducat's overconfidence was ultimately the Dominion's undoing, and why DS9 was retaken by by the Federation. It's evident when the tide turns against the Dominion in the battle for DS9 that he's lost more than just the station, culminating with the loss of Zial. The only reason why... Hang on. Go to the next one. This episode is an A- instead of being rated higher is because of Sisko's ploy of entering the wormhole. If the prophets had refused to interfere, then Ducat would have been right. It would have... Hang on. Been an ineffective and useless tactic. Still, I did enjoy this episode because of its strong points, but the convenient miracle aspect of the story's ending detracts from it overall. All right, well, thank you there.
No, you're right, Stephen M. That is
Stephen,
the reason why people call the God in the Machine one way to turn off the audience. But because if you get too used to just getting God to solve everything for you, it turns into Touched by an Angel. And that's wonderful. Like, I watched Touched by an Angel. I watched every single episode, but that's what I was expecting. And you're always expecting God to make his presence known and to be helping and a healing force. But that's certainly not what you're expecting in science fiction. You're not expecting that, nor do you want that. It's just a way to solve everything in science fiction, which is supposed to be doing something completely different than religion.
Mr. Angel says B-. Very conflicted about this episode. Good story, good tension, and then they bring in the gods. That ruined it a bit for me. I expected a lot better. I do like the title, though. I wonder why. Oh. I wonder why, sir. Wolfie says, rating A. USS SeaTac and the USS Majestic. We learned the Miranda class is officially Red Shirt Starship class. Oh, yeah. The Okundagram, is that how you say it? The Okudagram? Oh, the Okudagram of the okay, Okudagram, I get it. Okudas. Operation Return briefing is epic artwork indeed, sir. Let's see here. Never thought we would see two Galaxy-class ships together in action. Epic moment for sure. Hopefully, Wesley was flying one of those fighters that got smoked. I hope. We can only hope. I love the Klingons saving the day. Great way to bring it all back together, as the Federation and Klingons are supposed to be great friends. Yep. We follow the baseball as the symbol that Sisko will return through the last several episodes into last season. The baseball handoff at the end was epic. Yeah, it was. Thank you so much, Wolfie. Let's see here. The great enigmatic Drop Bear says C-. This space battlefield looked straight out of the medieval playbook. each side lining up against the other. Then someone yells, "Charge!" Let the outflanking begin. What uninspired tripe! Wow.
I love you in a drop there.
Gowron refused to reinforce the fleet because he would prefer the Dominion reinforcements to come through the wormhole. Why? Did he want the Alpha Quadrant to go down in a blaze of glory? Yeah, that's the thing. I didn't buy into that either. It just makes no sense. That it was phony. That's what I call. I have a term that I always use in Enigmatic Drop Bear when something doesn't make sense, but they put it in there anyway to make time, fill out time. I call it phony drama. That is an example of phony drama. There's no way the Gowron, knowing what was going on, would have ever made them wait. They only did it so they could have an excuse to go to where they were, they were a lot weaker and going into the typical kind of cliche, going in against the tougher odds because the Klingons didn't want to help. It made no sense. It was dumb, phony drama. And that's another thing that bugs me about the episode.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
Anyway, it's all an irrelevancy because the Dominion reinforcements were vaporized in the wormhole by the magical omnipotent prophets.
Yeah.
What a pointless story arc this turned out to be. That is a very good point. It kind of just shoots everything down in a sense.
Yeah. People just don't. People try. People want to like the story, but if it's just so hard when,
The great Eric K. The Ron's Wrencher says D-. How does the Cardassian and Dominion communicate with the EMP going off? Communicate with the EMP? Oh, I don't know. It will affect everyone. Why didn't the Defiant blast any ship attached to the station? Let them all go. You were at war, son. Capture or kill. You get all the leaders trying to escape. You can take the head off the snake. The body dies.
Yeah,
another good point.
Yeah.
Let's see here. At least the Cardassian and Dominion fleets are destroyed with no referments able to come over from the Delta. Should be easy war from now on.
Yeah.
I think he means Gamma.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got King Dolphin TV. Raymond says, a great battle. I knew Odo had it in him to redeem. This may not be popular opinion, but Star Trek does not have to be science fiction as long as the context is planned to be this way all along. I mean, they can do things outside of it's a science fiction setting, so not every episode has to be pure science fiction all the time, Raymond. I just think I would like to see more of it in any show called Star Trek. Would be my thing. You know what I'm saying?
I would like it to be faithful to the author if it's going to use the author's name. If it's going to use the author and creator's name, I would like it to remain faithful to that. And I think that if you want to go outside of that, that you can market that with your own name and your own title, and then you're free to do whatever you want. But I think that there will always be this push and pull for these more drama-centered episodes to be a little more sci-fi because of who they're named after and the name on the show.
Yep, yes, indeed. Lord Thought says C-. Some great scenes. I actually like this episode. And thank you, bro. Appreciate that. Lisa says C. Poignant ending. A frustrated Ducat losing the station, but shatters at the loss of his daughter. Prophets save the day. Writers box themselves into a literary miracle to unpack that crap up.
Yep. See, it's like, all the science fiction fans come forward and they're like, hey, he can't do this.
Classic Comics says grade B+. The battle scenes are worth it alone for me. Although it's kind of funny how Starfleet is 70% Miranda class ships. Really? Just transport the crews into space.
Oh my gosh, that's cruel and hysterical.
Let's see here. It would be quicker and less painful. The ship being whisked away is a bit of Deus Machina, but I can live with it. I think the episode does a good job of judging the different plot lines.
Yeah.
Hang on, where was I? Hang on. Where am I? Sorry, comics. Oh, okay, there we go. Gotcha. Let me find your next one here. No, that's 2 of 2. I thought I had 3. Thank you, Classic Comics. Let's see here. J.T. Kirk says, A-. Hasbrat souffle a la Kardashian yummy. Pull out a stopwatch and all of the battle shots aren't 30 seconds. Compare that to the filth and all the nonsense, and you realize this isn't so gaudy.
I gotcha. Baby. Yep.
Gotcha covered.
Yep.
Let's see here. All right. Shooter says, hey, okay, that's a lot of ships on the screen. I assume Cisco refers to the fighters as such because of their role and that they are not actually fighters. Also, did they get them from the Maquis fire sale?
Shooter.
I don't know that. I don't know. Neither Cisco or Ducat were fooled by the others' tactics, but hard choices needed to be made. No dumb mistakes. Quark's shock at killing 2 Jem'Hadar, brilliant bit of well-timed levity. Okay, yep. That was funny. The acting is great. The characters compelling, action and drama in a high-stakes game, and I love it. Plus, a surprise ending you don't see coming. About time the prophets did something. It's a fair cup, but society is to blame. Hang on. Zial's death was also surprisingly impactful. Maybe it was watching Ducat break at seeing her death at the hands of his most loyal subordinate, or Garrick expecting a warm welcome that never came. Yeah, that was tough. It was tough stuff. The wonderful anti-derivative Spartacus Jill says, A-. An incredible 2-parter ends with the prophets deciding the fate of the battle like Gandalf and the Eagles flying in at the last moment, which is why I dock it a little. You don't have to dock it unless you just like to. It starts with great battle advice from Nog, for Nog from Chief O'Brien. Instead of worrying about all the ships, worry about your work. Indeedishness. Ducat and Wei Yun show cracks in the alliance by demonstrating diametric views on how to conquer, which is the extermination of solids with regard versus gaslighting and fossilism. Odo finally breaks the manipulation he's been under thanks to his love for Kira and female changeling threatening Kira's life. So he pulls it together and helps his friends. Phenomenal acting from Mark Alamo really sells how much Ducat loves his daughter despite his sociopathy and how he forgives her for betraying Cardassia, by how much her death breaks him.
Yep.
It was a great performance, there's no question about it. Well, I think I found another one. There wasn't a review, but so I didn't
but I really like this comment, and I think this is a salient comment, and so I wanted it read. I hope you don't mind, boss.
It's okay. If Cisco had chosen to collapse the wormhole by self-distracting the Defiant, then the prophets interfered. That would have been better. Okay. Okay, gotcha.
I just wanted to say, Shooter, that is a great comment, and that's exactly what I mean. If you do have to play with this sort of thing in science
I agree with
fiction,
that. That's a good
people
point.
will accept it. The thing is that Cisco negotiated the deaths of, thousands of people on those ships, and they built the plot up to the point where it's just 100% that God has to end this episode. There's no other way to end the episode. The writers back themselves up against the wall. And so, yes, if we would have had Cisco going in to the wormhole and self-destructing, and
that would have been better.
Everything goes black, and then all of a sudden everything goes white, and we have all of the prophets standing around him. The Cisco self-destructed. Why did you self-destruct? And then Cisco saying
Right.
something like, time is linear. Now you're concerned with linear. And one of them says the Cisco cannot self-destruct. And then and then put them all back, in some way, in some altered state. I think that would have been interesting, and I think it would have been in keeping with science fiction, and it would have been in keeping with the idea of the capricious gods, that they're not divine and they're not disgusting. They're a little bit in between those two things, and they'll interfere only when their ends are interfered with. So this is a brilliant comment, and this is exactly what I mean. I don't have these hard and fast rules. I do think it's okay to have a little God in the machine sometimes, but it just can't be so overt that you ran out of story and then you used it. So you are more thoughtful than a room full of writers, Shooter. So great job.
All right. So thank you, Shooter, for that. Michael Beacom says B-. Great drama, good SFX, not much of an exploration of the human spirit. The solution is one I thought of last season. Oh no, we're being invaded by the Alpha Quadrant, says Cisco. Aren't you friends with the gods, aliens? Oh, say, Cisco, aren't you friends with the gods, aliens? The god aliens who make the wormhole happen? Can they close it? Could have ended this whole thing in season 4 or 5, literally Deus Machina, facepalm, over and over. Coordinate. They knew they had to kill someone. Why does someone have to die? Why does the phone always ring when you're in the bathtub, Mr. Luthor? No more thought than that. So they picked the cop's daughter. On page 491, Weddle says that in order to make Ciel's death more important to the audience, they had to make her a better puppy.
Oh, wow.
What the heck? Puppy?
That's what they called her in the book.
That's how they
the
thought
writers.
of her, quoting that in TV, the best way to trigger audience emotions is to threaten a puppy. Great drama, meh. Science fiction, again, they are saved by a great cast.
I'm so happy you have the book there. And Shooter, like, I don't know what you do for a living. I don't know what your level of education is, but I can tell you this, that you do have a good mind for substantive editing. And there are different types of editing. So there's line by line editing. There is copy editing. There's proofreading. So there are many levels of editing. And if you were to, put your name out there in your local community, there are probably lots of authors who would absolutely love to engage you on a first read to see the holes in their books, in their stories, and get your feedback. So it's good if you have that kind of a mind where you're like, hey, how come this happened? And this could have happened instead. It's that if you have that kind of a mind, it might be time for you to throw your hat in the ring and do that. Oh, what's going on? Simply Steve says his review isn't here. And a Polymese minion and the pepperoni just walked through the door.
Polymese, good to see you, dear.
Where's my Steve's review?
I don't have a picture of the pepperoni anymore, I'm afraid. Oh, no, I do have it. There we go. Pepperoni.
Like I have
Steve
talking about the Oberth class, and I have him talking with that it's Star Trek, not Stay Trek. Like I was following his entire conversation with me and others.
No,
I don't see it. Did he get vaporized?
I don't see it either. I don't see it. I haven't seen it. Well, let me get these reviews knocked out and see if you can find it.
Yeah, I'll go back and find it. I'm going to go quiet, okay? I'm going to go look for it.
All right, and I'll read these real quick. Phantom Outsider says, C, the Klingons showing up at the critical time. What if the Federation fleet had been more decimated? Would the Klingons just left? The cloaking device always made the Klingons somewhat squirrely. Some of that stuff really annoyed me. Using the prophet's smacks of bad writing, we wrote ourselves into a box. Solution: thank the prophets. So the prophets are the bouncers at the Alpha Quadrant Club door. Puny gods. Puny gods. I hear you, deuterishness. The great chief engineer, Mark D with a C, says F minus minus. I hate this episode. It's the worst episode ever. Just kidding. He's just kidding. He says, I'm kidding, dude. A minus. Big improvement over the last episode, and lots of plot threads are finally resolved. We have the tragic death of Zial and breaking of Ducat. He tragically can't believe that his daughter is a traitor to his cause, and then he cannot fathom losing her. Cisco gets his triumphant return in a MacArthur-like moment when he gets his baseball bat from Ducat. Plus, Nog gets promoted to engineer. Thankfully, the gods needed about 2,000 spaceships. Otherwise, Cisco and our gang would have had a very bad day. I presume he meant to write Cisco, or I don't know.
Probably.
He'll tell us.
He's being puntastic. Simply Steve, I just looked through the whole chat, and it's not there on my side of StreamYard. And then my trusty dusty Jilly Jill looked for it on your guys' side of StreamYard, like in YouTube, and it's not there either. So I think you got vaporized, honey. He's like, no, I have to retype it. Too much work. Oh my gosh.
I taught mine in Microsoft Word and then copy them over, but sometimes weird stuff happens, like the spell check seemed to have screwed up my numbers, so they skipped 3. Says Michael Bacon. Well, Steve, I'm sorry, buddy. I don't really know what to tell you there, but it's not your fault if it. I mean, sometimes the algorithm picks up something that it doesn't like, to no fault of your own, unless you wrote something in there risque that we don't know about, you naughty boy. But you are a naughty one, Steve. No, I'm just kidding. We appreciate you. We do, buddy. And
yeah,
I'm sorry about that, man. I wish we had it.
Yeah, weird.
But I understand you. I understand you don't feel like retyping it again. I can't blame you, buddy. But if you want to put something or a few words about it later, we're going to move on to the next episode.
Yeah, let's do that. If you want, I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that, brother. I really we appreciate you. So
I don't like it when that happens.
We hate when that happens,
one time
man.
that happened like a while back, and it got bounced for like some weird reason, like I don't even remember. I'll just throw out something absurd. Somebody typed bacon in a way where it looked like it could be a bad word or whatever. I hate when they do that. It's so much censoring and over just really stupid reasons.
Lord Thoth, good night, buddy. Avon lives, long live the Legion, my friend. Thanks for being here. I saw someone saying good night to him. So what?
Good night, LT. Good night, Lady Thoth. Good night, Sir Lanza Thoth.
See, bye, Ziel. We hardly knew ye. The trauma deepens to cut. More ROM equals more Lita whimpers. Wow. What are you trying to say? This? Thank you. Thanks, Steve. Sorry about that, buddy. All right, well, let's get it on here. Let's get on to our next episode. You ready?
Let's do it.
All righty, our next episode. Don't blame me. Blame the people who made the show. You are cordially invited to jam a bat lift up my ass. Oh. All right, number one. Are you ready to do this while I go take some medicine?
Yeah, go take your medicine, boss.
I'm gonna need some for this one.
Yes, Shooter says, I can't help it. That's cute. Shooter, you're also the guy who opens the door for the girl, aren't you? And you're also the guy who always gets chocolates for the girl.
So am I.
I love you just the way you are, Shooter. Don't ever change, sweetheart. I'm just sending you a huge hug. It's great that there are still big teddy bear men out there in this big, cold, dark, horrible world. Okay, so let's get this out of the way. Cordial and cordial are the same word, but in my country, we don't pronounce the D as a J like they do in the United States. So if you're hearing the difference, it's because I'm saying it in the UK, Australian, New Zealand, Canadian way, the British way, instead of the American way. So I will not be saying cordial. I'll be saying cordial. You are cordially invited. Season 6, Episode 7. This is prod code 531. This was first broadcast, and we all watched it for the very first time, unfortunately, on November 10th, 1991. And now I'm going to be reading a cold read from Wikipedia about this marvelous episode. Let's hope it doesn't suck. Yeah, right, Shooter? Because it's CORDIALL. Why? Not J. There's no J there. And so, yes, so let's do this. Commanders Worf and Jadzia Dax plan their long-awaited wedding. Since Dax will be joining Worf's surrogate family, the House of Martok, she agrees to endure the traditional evaluation by the mistress of the house, Martok's wife, Cirilla. Dax is surprised to learn that as a non-Klingon, she will almost certainly fail to gain Cirilla's favor. Learning that Cirilla disapproves of Dax, Worf asks Martok to intervene, but Martok refuses to interfere with Cirilla's prerogative. Worf invites his son Alexander, who is 8 years old. I just want to say, Alexander is 8 years old, as well as Captain Sisko, Chief O'Brien, and Dr. Bashir to join him and Martok in the Klingon bachelor party. I don't even want to try and pronounce that at this hour. The traditional Klingon bachelor party. The four of them are disappointed to learn that, unlike what they imagined the Klingons' idea of a bachelor party to be, the Kalhaya, or whatever, is actually a multi-day ceremonial ordeal featuring fasting, bloodletting, and other physical trials, including cooking yourself. Anyways, Dax struggles to meet Cirilla's exacting standards. When asked to recite the history of Cirilla's family, Dax infuriates her prospective mother-in-law by revealing her discovery that Cirilla has no imperial blood and is descended from a concubine. Dax throws herself a pre-wedding party in the midst of the drinking, debauchery, and a fire dance by Dax's friend Lieutenant Atoa. Cirilla enters and demands Dax join her for a ritual. When Dax tells her to leave, Cirilla threatens to cancel the wedding. The confrontation escalates into a physical assault, and Cirilla storms out. The next morning, Worf informs Dax that Cirilla has forbidden her to join the House of Martok. He asks her to beg Cirilla's forgiveness, but Dax refuses to endure any further humiliation just so Worf can have his Klingon ceremony. He rejects her suggestion to simply have Sisko officiate, and the two call off the wedding. Martok persuades Worf to apologize to Dax, but she refuses to change her mind. Determined to see the lovers wed, Sisko goes to see Dax. She describes the indignities to which she has been subjected, reminding Sisko that, as Curzon Dax, she was a Federation ambassador to the Klingon Empire. Sisko points out that even though she shares Curzon's memories, she's a new person, and that Cirilla sees her only as a young woman who wants to marry into her family. Sisko states that Dax knew what she was getting into when she agreed to marry Worf, and she must honor the traditions of his people. Warmed by her deep love for Worf, Dax follows Sisko's advice, and they are married with Cirilla's blessing. So you're back from getting your meds, boss. Tell me, what did you think of? You're invited to the Klingon wedding.
Oh, Ron.
If you can see Alarin, you'll come
Are we done with this episode yet?
Oh,
God, Jesus Christ. Okay, first of all, we're not allowed to call him. I'm changing his name. It's not Alexander anymore. His name is Alexander.
yes.
Because he's 8 years old. 8 freaking years old. All right.
He's 8.
I guess they think this is really funny. They go from a war right to a goofy ass, silly, stupid look. I've said this last time. I'm going to do it again. The original series had 3 episodes that you could call comedic, and of course I thought they were really good. I love all of them, but if you don't like them, that's fine. I get it, but I love them. TNG. Say what you want about TNG. There are a couple of lighthearted episodes here and there, once in a while, sprinkled throughout, whether you like the show or not. Not the biggest Voyager fan out there, right? But there are a couple of lighthearted one here and there. Just as an Enterprise, what is it with DS9 is obsessed with? Almost every other fragging week is a comedy. I like these characters. Also, I really like these characters. It's the only thing that keeps me watching the show, I think. But Jesus Christ, and this is a comedy, and it's a soap opera comedy, whatever you want to call it, and it's not even funny at that. They're not. That's another thing that some of their humor episodes are at least mildly amusing. And then sometimes it's this, and I didn't find this one particularly funny. This crap with the, no humans are gonna go to a stupid Klingon bachelor party when they find out it's like that. I'm sorry. I know they were all trying to sound tough, but I'm like, wait, we got to do this for the next 4 days. Screw that noise. It's just like
Not eating for 4 days.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go do that. Yeah, it's like shut up with that stuff. I guess they all wanted to sound tough, be tough. Screw Klingons. Klingons are a bunch of no fun sons of bitches. If you got to do that at their fucking freaking bachelor party. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just don't find this particularly intriguing or interesting, and it's not what I watch my Star Trek for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, going with the notes. I don't even. I am so uninterested in this episode. This is so sick of this.
It's something, isn't it?
And the fact I can't stand the Worf Dax thing. Never did like it. Sorry, it's just me.
Yeah, it is weird. I mean, he has an armadillo on his face. I mean, he's cute and everything, but he has an armadillo on his face, and he doesn't brush his teeth. And I'm catching all sorts of heck from everyone for not pronouncing the D as a J and for pronouncing the I. Folks, I love you very much, but just go check your dictionaries, okay? In the U.S., they do pronounce it cordial. There's no J.
Carol, that's a great point. I'm going to address that. Trek. Humorous moments in Trek are better than all-out episodes based on humor. Because there's some great episodes that are even very serious, where you laugh out loud at some of the exchanges between Spock and McCoy, for example. But they're serious episodes. Anyway, sorry, but anyway, I just want to say that. So go over your notes.
Okay, Alexander is 8 years old. I wrote that in my notes, and then I wrote right beside it, Alexander is 8 years old.
Alexander.
Yeah, he's Alexander. And then I wrote the wedding episode, 4 Days of Hell. It's a bachelor party, and then it's a hen party, or a bachelorette party, I guess some folks would call it. It's called both, in Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand. It's kind of more, a lot of people say bachelorette or they say hen party. Anyway, doesn't matter. Klingon in-law, it's the Klingon in-law show. Cirilla is insufferable and totally rude. Cirilla is prejudiced and xenophobic. And that is the show in a nutshell. She 100% looks Jadzia Dax in the eyes and says, you're not from my race, you're not Klingon, so I will never accept you. I think you marrying a Worf will weaken our race and weaken our society. It's quite a thing to say. I'm amazed that this was allowed to be on air. But I mean, here it is, and it's just really sad because I think it stokes the fires of people's. I don't want to speak in mixed metaphors here, but it appeals to people's lesser angels. And I don't like it very much. It's not pleasant for me to sit through an entire program with someone saying that they'll never accept you into their family because you're not the same race as them, that you're not good enough, that you'll never be like them, and so on and so forth. I think it's really cruel, and I don't enjoy watching that. The rest is all comedy. Quark is in love with Dax. So this is yet another one of these weird soap opera turns that the show is taking. Seems like everyone is in love with everyone. Everyone wants to sleep with everyone. And I want to break into the love boat here because it's really like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Odo and Kira make up in a closet. And so they're giving like goo goo eyes to one another in Jadzia Dax's closet. It's just weird. This is not science fiction. And then I wrote underneath this, who is this for? Who did they write this for? Like, who's this? What's the psychographic here? What's the demographic here? This it contains so much cheesy barf. I have to walk out of the room. It's a cringe fest. It's like chewing wool or chewing tinfoil. It's absolutely awful.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, I guess it works as a comedy episode. I don't like entirely hate it. Like I didn't like brutalize it or anything like that, but I'm just wondering like how far do they want to take this and make it so not Star Trek? And look, people need to be told that people like me have existed for over 45 years in Star Trek. I have complained about this since the beginning. This, like, I have been here the whole time. And so when Star Trek is not Star Trek, I'm going to say so. And I know that upsets people, but what else can I do? I don't find this to be Star Trek. It's just us, consistently looking at this extremely prejudiced and extremely xenophobic person berating somebody else. And it's just absolutely ridiculous. And then the rest of it is all the love boat. Yeah, who's this for? This isn't Star Trek. I don't care what people say. Oh, well, it can be a little this. It could be no. This is a lot. This is a lot of not Star Trek. The
Yeah,
end.
but it's every other week. I mean, again, if it was once in a while, no one would have a problem with it. But even if it wasn't any good, it's also not very funny. And it's just, I'm tired of all this Worf and Dax crap and this. I don't know. Look, this. All right. Well, let me get your any rating you may have of your Cordelia invited to Alexander's Pappy's bachelor party and wedding and all that horse knocking. What is your rating of this scintillating episode?
Well, the funny thing is that I had a glass of wine and I was sitting there eating my M&M eggs, the peanut butter kind, and feeling pretty good. And I guess it was okay. And I don't want to be so cruel to DS9. And I try to be generous with my ratings, but I really, really don't enjoy somebody saying to somebody for the vast majority of the show, you're never going to fit in my family. You're not good enough. You're not our race. You need to be our race in order to fit into our family. You are going to weaken our race. You're going to weaken our family. You're going to weaken our society. I don't want you in my family, and saying all this. So she's rejecting her because of who she is. And I think it's disgusting. At the same time, I had some wine and I had those beautiful peanut M&M eggs. They're just delicious. I gave it a C-. I think it deserves an F, but I gave it a C- because the wine was good. And so were the peanut M&M eggs.
Well, don't worry. Got an F from me. I give it an F. I just get,
Okay.
I really, really thought long and hard about making it basically. I really considered giving it just a D or and being moderate about it. But again, if this is something that wasn't going on and on and on all the time, I might be a little more well disposed towards it. Go ahead and start your reviews, folks. I would have probably been a little more lenient, but it needs an F because it's just I'm tired of this crap, and it's got too much stupid garbage in it for me. So I know I'm being
so
a little
mean.
it just aggravated me. And look, it's got. And I'm not even saying that some of the character stuff isn't at least mildly amusing on a character level because I like these people, but I just don't. I'm just sick of this crap. To be honest.
Yeah, and like when you and I first met, like I don't know, it's like probably coming up 3 years ago. When we started to become friends, we were one of the reasons why we decided to do this show is because you and I really felt like social media was getting away on people, and people didn't realize that Trekkies have been criticizing Star Trek from the very beginning, and we call balls and strikes, as you like to say. I love that saying of yours, by the way. And that it's okay to call balls and strikes. It doesn't mean that you're off the team. It doesn't mean that you're not allowed anymore. You know, this is a no-go zone or whatever. It's not like that. It's just it's okay to be honest when something sucks or it's not good. And so, I don't know. I just hope people aren't too upset with me.
And no one's upset. Well, look, you know how I feel about that. Anyone who's upset for anybody over their opinion. I mean, look, we tease each other for our differing opinions from time to time, but this is a TV show. So if we disagreed, I mean, if I thought it was the greatest episode ever and you disliking it, you thought it was the worst or vice versa, there's no way you'd upset me. And I expect everyone around here anyway. I can't speak for everybody, but anybody upset at your opinion can, I don't know what to tell you. If you're upset at someone else's opinion, you need to look at yourself, because even if, and none of our friends around here are like that. Everyone's respectful of everyone's opinion. Now, very often, almost every episode we review here, there's someone, even if let's say the majority dislikes the episode, there's at least 2 or 3 of our friends here that like it, and vice versa. If most people like it, the episode, and you and I have been known to like an episode occasionally that wasn't very popular either, there's going to be somebody that didn't like it as much. But if anyone's upset from anyone for disliking an episode, this is the wrong place for them, because that means you just can't handle opinions. And I got nothing for you if that's the case. But I know our dear friends here, we're all friends here, so none of our friends here should have a problem with your opinions ever. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here. So I love you. Don't worry, and never worry about that. Classic Comics says grade C with War. I think work, but I think it's a spell thing. So it means Worf. With Worf being such a Klingon traditionalist, I never bought him going for non-Klingon women. That's a good point. This is better than his dalliance with Troy, at least. I can't argue with that, buddy. That was number 1. Let's see. Did you have a second? It says he has a second one. Classic Comics. Oh, there he is.
It's there.
No, that's the same one.
Oh.
Weird.
What?
Here's the second one. All right.
Okay,
a tedious soap opera episode that delivers a few laughs, intentional and otherwise, but little more. Thank you, Classic Comics. Somehow we got you up there a couple times on one of them. All right. Lisa says D. Pretty mean to make humans and an underdeveloped Klingon to go through a ritual. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And seen this pre-wedding breakup get back together in many episodic properties. Why special? Why special? Because it's Klingons. What a joke. Yes, Lisa. I
love Lisa.
Totally right there with you. Mr. Angel, Chef says, C. I swear this episode was rebooted as the movie Crazy Rich Asians. Those who've seen it know. Don't judge me. Girlfriend made me watch. Stop looking at me that way. Okay, I go walk the walk of shame now. Nah, you're safe here, buddy. You're good. Simply Steve says F. I cordially decline. Ep was a waste of writing. The Worf, Dex, Bridezilla, Dax, and Laws angle wasn't good. Back to Kira Odo plot hole. No ROM Space 90. This time, little side to this phi. Again, a raspberry. There you go. Oh God, I love it.
I love Steve's reviews. I'm glad that one did get vaporized. And Mr. Angel was it Mr. Angel? I think Mr. Angel said something like the chat's like going crazy. So
what's wrong?
Just sometimes the chat does weird stuff, so that might have been the reason why Steve got vaporized. It looks like it's doing some crazy stuff on the other side.
Okay, sorry about that. Where are we at? Let's see here. The great enigmatic drop bear says D. All that action in the last 6 episodes means now It's time for a reprieve. Cue the melodramatic snore fest. Wedding off, wedding on, wedding off, wedding on ad nauseum. Why did Ron Space Knight Moore, Ron Moore, sorry, not Ron. why did Ron Moore write characters like this? Why not just stick to science fiction allegorical storytelling under the aegis of the Roddenberry ethos? Because they don't respect it. In my opinion, they don't respect it. And by the way, it's easier to write this kind of junk. He's been watching soap operas. They hire soap opera writers, TV writers, TV hacks. It's easier to hack this crap out instead of hiring science fiction writers the way Gene Roddenberry did.
Yep.
So they put this crap out there.
It's so true. It's so true.
Steven Cal L says C-. And once again, I'm being generous. I had and still have absolutely no interest in the events that led up to Worf and Dax's wedding. It could have happened between episodes and off screen. There's a very good point again. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let it just happen and we don't care about it. With nothing lost, what saves this episode from getting a lower rating is the humor of the Klingon bachelor party and the banter between O'Brien and Bashir throughout. Thoroughly enjoyed the, it was funny at first for me. And then when they're sitting there about to eat and they get the food, told they can't touch the food because the wedding's back on, I think I'd have been like, screw that. Screw their stupid wedding. I'm eating this steak. To hell with you. I wish they'd done that, thrown a damn in their face, but I don't know. It's so asinine. Scene where they jokingly promised to harm Worf and ultimately carried out their promise at the end. Yeah, that was kind of funny. We didn't get to see him. Yeah, when he's predicting he's going to kill Worf, that was funny. I admit that part was funny. Although Dax acted like a spoiled brat at one point, I did like how Sisko called her out on it, which brought her back to the reality of who she was instead of her acting arrogantly because her previous host past accomplishments. If it wasn't for the...
Sorry, I just interrupted you. I thought you were done. Please finish. Sorry, boss.
If it wasn't for the humorous aspects of this, but we gotta find this other one. Go ahead. You go ahead while I find it.
Chris Persia has to leave. He says 1:15 the new day. I'm gonna have to bow out, and I wish you all a happy Easter, everyone.
Good night, buddy. Happy Easter.
Wish Chris Persia a happy Easter. What a wonderful person he is. I'm so happy that you're a part of our community, our circle, a part of the 735 Club. Around the holidays is when you get to tell people how much you care about them and what a wonderful light they are in your
Good
life.
night, buddy.
So, thank you, Chris, and send the best to your family.
Episode this would be easily skippable for me. I'd rather see more Dominion War stories than episodes like this. As Kal-El, thank you, Kal-El. I'm right there with you, buddy. I totally understand. Sorry, I thought sorry about that, everybody. I'm having trouble muting myself. Stupid mouse. So sorry. That was meant to be muted. God, I'm so annoyed with this thing. Our wonderful friend Jill, communications officer, says so she liked it. Says, I fall for most Klingon episodes. A wedding is no exception. I enjoy that the traditions led the engaged through trials of fire, strengthening the resolve of their connection. Also, the humor. Unfortunately, the writers gave up on ever having a satisfying resolution to Worf's parenting issues with Alexander. He's falling over himself trying to be the soldier he never wanted to be. True. While Worf's bachelor party tests the sense of competition endurance, Jadzia endures suffering from Sorella, who sets impossible standards of her prejudice. Great parallels. Hang on. When she is laughing, I am somber. When I am happy, she is crying. She plays tango with the Ferengi bartender. I can barely stand him. She mocks everything while I take everything seriously. Yes, that was a good line. Thank you so much, Jill. Fanty outside, he says. D. The lamest thing is how Dax was depicted. She has Curzon's memories. He was the godfather of a Klingon and fought alongside 3 Klingon legends.
Yeah.
Koloth, king godfather of a son. And yep, hang
Yeah.
on. Hang on, I gotta find your other one, dude.
She's also fluent in Klingon, so I don't understand why she speaks English. Why not just have them all speak English then? Because there's a universal translator. Also, Monkey G Buzz!
Hey, Monkey G, you do this every time, Fandy. Your first one said 1 of 2. Now all of a sudden you write 2 of 3. Just saying, dude. Don't make me come up there. Good thinking, Monkey G, boss. Good to see you. And the Damar Master Corps, although the other two also had that title as well. A title given to the best Klingon warriors with Dax's close association with them. It's insane there'd be objection. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I hear you. I'm with you. My theory is Damar Master is Klingon for opposed Kirk and lived to tell the tale. I like it. So Maltz probably got that title too. Maltz! Choo! Choo! All right.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
The great Raymond Feliciano says, B, it's a good Klingon. It's a good Klingon. It's got lower grade because I wanted to punch Sorella myself. It's a fair cop. Eric K says, D. Sure am glad front lines of a war they have 4 days to do nothing and be cut off from info. Jadzia wanting more from the Lieutenant F-boy for a few days was cringy. I guess Worf does not mind.
Yeah, I didn't like that either, where it's like it's heavily implied that something is going on with her and that person. It's not good.
Odo back in good graces that easy. Wow. He does. How does everyone not know what he did? How can he be trusted? Because it's TV shows. They forget crap all the time on these things.
Yep.
Sean Carter says, I like the bachelor party stuff on a character level. The Dax stuff, if she was really had the level of respect for Klingon culture, she'd never have complained. Raspberry.
Asking, you shall receive.
Thank you, Eric K, for that. He says, another thing, she is Jadzia, not Kirzon. She has the memories of all hosts, but not just one. Why does she only act like Kirzon? She is Jadzia.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sir, that's right. Indeed. JT Kirk says, Raquel, I didn't put this in my review, but why have this wedding? Oh, he has another one up. Does he have another one before this?
I think
or
so.
Maybe
Yeah.
he does. I was down at the bottom, so I thought I would start back. Oh, that's it.
Yeah,
JT Kirk's first one is this F plus. Wow. I skipped this one on the annual rotation. This is made for weirdo shippers that need relationships and need prom night in every series. Who is this made for? See, filth
Right?
writing staff, and the one fan.
Yeah.
Wow. And then he wrote, Raquel, I didn't put this in my review, but why have this wedding in the stupid bar? There are multiple holosuites and Klingon ships.
Yeah.
Why not simulate Kronos instead of the tacky Cardi station?
Yeah, I totally
you got
agree.
me, Chief.
And the thing is, too, is like, and Clobby's tapping into it. He's always tapping into it about how they're it's like they have this excuse where if they have these super serious episodes, that then they need to give you some comic relief in the next episode. But what really happens when you do that is that you shake up the viewer, you shake up the reader in a very unpleasant way, because when you really love a book or when you really love a show, you're going to it not because it's a mixed bag of ideas and tones, but because the show has this, or the book has a specific tone. And so for me, I think the tone of the series affects some people more than others. So if you just watch it when it's on TV and you're not watching it in a linear fashion, you probably get a good chuckle out of this episode. You probably think, this is pretty good. But if you're somebody who's engrossed in it and you're watching it in a linear fashion, you say to yourself, well, this is rather jarring, isn't it? They call me into the room and I sit down and I'm to imbibe this incredibly violent material that involves xenophobia. It involves war. There are all of these metaphors being sent everywhere to engage me in these political ideals that the writers are trying to bring across. And then the very next episode, we have a comedy with prejudice and xenophobia in it, and we're supposed to laugh. So I think that some folks are bothered by the tone. Some people don't mind the shifting tone, while others sort of feel like, hey, what the HE double hockey sticks is going on here? Last week, xenophobia was really bad. It was bringing down the entire galaxy and like the entire universe. And this week, it's actually kind of funny. What? So it's the tone, right? It's the tone. You get used to a tone with a particular product, a TV product or a book. Anyway,
Shooter says C-. We finally have a fleet around DS9, and we should have had when as we should have had when hostilities began. The wedding episode, well, they have built to it. Let's get they have building to it. Let's get it over with. Okay. Sorry about that, Shooter. We have the humor-driven road to Calcutta. I enjoy the suffering Julian and Miles, and them plotting revenge on Worf, but it wasn't necessary. I would break off the engagement if my mother-in-law was that bad. Still, Dax did antagonize her out of spite. It was enjoyable. Some Klingon world building, just not great. Okay, Shooter. All right, there you go. Michael Beacom says, D. Ron Moore tried to have a wedding episode on TNG and was downvoted. Then so he got to do it, and so now he got to do it. Mm-hmm. They knew any episode after Sacrifice of Angels was going to be a fan disappointment. So wedding. So was that the third one? Re-weddings. Cassandra and I eloped. Did I miss one? Oh man, I don't think so. Maybe I didn't. I thought it was the second one. What was that? Did I miss one?
I don't think so. The last one was 2, right?
Okay, it's just the next one says re-weddings. Okay.
Yeah, regarding weddings.
Yeah,
Cassandra and I eloped.
Right. Something about how my family promised retaliation if I married her.
Yeah.
Look, Worf, if you're not ready to burn it all for your lady, you may have the wrong match. I got you.
Yeah, Michael, this is exactly my feeling in my whole heart. I'm a TOS fan, and that is my feeling in my whole heart. In my whole heart. So I love what you're saying right now.
Yep, hang on. Got a couple of more to start here.
Oh.
I got a.
Oh, he said you skipped 2.
I skipped 2?
Yeah.
I could have swore I hit 2.
Yeah.
Sorry, Michael.
I so as well. Let me go.
I could have swore I hit it. Hang on. Damn it. So 4 was at 11:08. Hang on, Michael.
While you're looking at this, I'll just read 4 of 4. Raquel, I heard all of that and more. Got married anyway. Over time, Cassandra and I became my parents' favorites. Over time, Cassandra became my parents' favorite. Sorry for too much information, but I just had to explain this paralleled personal experience. Michael, I cannot adequately express in words how much I identify with what you're saying right now. I had a personal experience that was very similar to that. And that's why it's very meaningful for me as well, because I think that just shows the purest love, and you got to go for it. You got to do it. and I'm proud of you. And your wife is gorgeous, and she is a sweetheart of a lady. And I'm so happy that you two found each other, and that you love one another so much. That's the way this plays out. And so, yeah, just hearing all that venom in the episode, and that it's encased in a comedy, I found was kind of insulting, because, you and Cassandra share a similar experience that I have. And so, yeah, when you're dealing with somebody with a pure heart who just loves someone, hearing all that venom, it really hurts, especially when the intentions are pure. So I'm just sending you both huge hugs and kisses. You guys are the cutest couple ever. I love you guys very much.
There was no 2. I got 1. I'm going to star 1. I'm going to star 3. So 1 and
Michael
3.
says that he posted it twice.
I'm sure he did.
But he's
But
saying, why is it not there?
108, 107, I got 1 at the 104. And then 108, I got 1 of 3 right behind it. I'm looking at in the chat now. Somehow it got vaporized.
No.
Sorry, Michael. That's why. Hey, Admiral Teague's here. Hey, Admiral
Good
Teague.
evening, Admiral Teague.
Thank you
Thank you for the
super
gift.
sticker.
Everyone is confirming. Eric K and Mark D with the C are confirming vaporized. It was vaporized.
I'm so sorry, buddy. Michael Beacom, I have no idea about what it does that, buddy. He posted it twice.
Earlier.
He said he reposted it twice, too.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Wow. I mean, some kind of word that nobody likes.
The algorithm's up to something now. Weird and annoying.
Weird. Well, if you see it, thank you, Shooter. Thank you for that, Shooter. Let me know that. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Wow. Sorry about that, buddy. But if we get it back up there, or if you want to, he posted it 3 times. Now it changed one word and it put it in again. He said. I'm looking for it now. I don't. What could that word be?
I have no idea. Like one time it was like some silly word. Like I know that I'm being ridiculous right now and I'm just throwing out an empty word. But last time it was like bacon was spelled funny and it vaporized it. And Eric looked at it and Eric was like, okay, I think this word might have been read this way by the algorithm.
Right.
We took that word out and sure enough, it went through. So it's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah. Well,
and
you read
Mr. Angel's saying that he's missing a huge chunk of the chat. So something fishy's going on here.
Oh my God. Well, you read number 4 of his, right?
Yes, I did. And there are people in the chat that are talking about it right now.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Sandra.
Sorry.
Sandra Feliciano is speaking about it, and so is a bunch of people are just saying that they love Michael Beacom's comment, and yeah.
He sent it to me in the mail. Listen here. He said they didn't. Okay, this is the second comment. Okay. They didn't care. Alexander. I guess it means Siddig or something. He got older because labor laws make it difficult to cast young people. That's it. Bright spot. Jadzia's wedding garb. Thank you, Bob Blackman and Terry Farrell. I don't see what was objectionable about any of that.
Yeah.
That was his number 2 comment. So, yeah. And Sandra says, at first I thought the treatment was to see how serious Jadzia was. After a while, it became clear she was going to be one of those mothers-in-law. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, for me,
right.
Sandra, I think it was over the top when she said, like, you're going to weaken our society, you're going to weaken our race. And her coming right out and saying that, I just thought was just wildly over the top. And enigmatic drop bear, my favorite from your neck of the woods. And as you know, I teach English, so I try to teach all the different pronunciations because it's very important to me. And it's very important to my students. So my students aren't afraid when they have this university education and they have degrees and they're going all over the world and they're hearing all these different pronunciations, wondering what the heck they're talking about. Australia, but the one that I've always loved from Down Under, although I think you might be UK, I don't remember. Anyway, is harm. I love that Australians say harm. I'm going harm. You're going home. And so when somebody is learning English hears somebody from Down Under say home, and they hear harm. So that's a good one. I know you're all talking about the different words and the different pronunciations, so I thought I'd throw that one in. Harm versus home.
Gotcha. Wolfie says, what the hell? Rating B, Klingons have been so good at embracing of other cultures so far. Well, yeah, it's true. Klingon, everyone gets to be, Klingons are bigots, let's face it. Cirilla quadruples down on it. She eventually comes around like the crew of the IKS Pach did for Riker. Pach, yeah. So anyway, our final review of this episode of the night. Thank goodness. D from the great Mark D with the C, the chief engineer, says, my God, what a waste of 45 minutes. Worst batch. Oh, I'm sorry. He meant to say A+. I love it. This episode's the greatest one ever. I watch it every day. No, he said D. He said D. My God, what a waste of 45 minutes. Worst bachelor party ever. How could you spend 4 days at Hooters without eating some wings? And they didn't even get to go to Hooters. Jerkweeds. It's so yeah. It's just, I guess they thought it was funny, but it wasn't funny to me. At least the dress looked great, and Farrell was able to wear it 17 years later at a Star Trek con. See the overlay I added.
Oh,
okay.
Nice.
Let's see here. No, look, everybody. She wore this at a con years later. Yeah, that's the best thing.
She did that, yeah.
Definitely the highlight of the episode there. Thank you, Duder.
And the boob window is so important when you're cosplaying. You got to keep the girls cool. It's the only way to survive those costumes. Let me tell you, I'm speaking from experience. JT Kirk, yes, that is definitely my favorite. Andrew's my husband, as you well know, my husband. I speak about my husband, fairly often, even though private person. My husband's favorite from Down Under is actually Dick. So when I say, let's go out onto the deck, he always corrects me in an Australian accent and says, you mean the dick?
Well, who's ready?
Anyway.
To get away from this episode, I can't take it anymore. Ready?
Okay.
For our final episode of the evening?
We do have a final episode of the evening, boss.
Okay, the final episode of the evening, folks, is Resurrection.
Yes.
Resurrection.
There's some sort of action. This is season 6, episode 8. It is prod code 532. And it first aired, we all watched it for the very first time on November 17th, 1997. The Australians are going crazy, or the Kiwis. The Kiwis and the Aussies are after me. Anyway, okay, now I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia. Let's do this. I love you guys so much. The Mirror Universe version of Vedic Bareil arrives on DS9 in the operations transporter, taking Major Kira Nerys hostage. He promises not to hurt her as long as he can have a ship to flee the station, because he is trying to get away from the Alliance in the Mirror Universe. Sisko allows them to leave, signaling Odo with an authorization code. When Bareil and Kira arrive at landing pad A, Kira points out that the disruptor Bareil is holding has a cracked power cell and cannot hurt anyone. When he attempts to overpower the Major, she knocks him unconscious and he is arrested by Odo, who appears from the airlock with security officers. While in a holding cell, Bareil convinces Kira that he never intended to hurt anyone and that merely wants such bad writing, to escape the Alliance in his own universe, and begs her to destroy the device he used to transport to the Prime Universe so that he can never be taken back. Convinced, Kira tells Captain Sisko that she does not want to press charges and that she feels he could be released. Concerned, Sisko warns Kira that while Bareil may look like the Prime Universe counterpart, not to be fooled. Mirror Universe Baral attends a Bajoran religious ceremony with Kira and tells her that he will need all the help he can get in adjusting to his new life in the Prime Universe. Kira invites Baral to dinner with the commanders Worf and Jadzia Dax, and afterward, they go to Kira's quarters, where he tells her about his partner who died in the Mirror Universe, and Kira starts to fall for him. They spend the evening together, and they make love. The following day, Kira takes Baral to the Bajoran temple to have an experience with the Orb of Prophecy at his request. When Baral returns to his quarters, the intendant, Kira's Mirror Universe counterpart, comes out of the back room. She asks how their plan to steal the Orb of Prophecy is coming along. The real reason for being in the Prime Universe is to steal the orb and return to the Mirror Universe, where the intendant plans to use it to unite her Bajor against the Alliance. Wow, this is some special writing. Baral visits Quark's bar under the guise of having a drink and then scouts out the Bajoran temple. Quark warns Major Kira that he has seen the look before and suspects that Baral will attempt to rob the temple of something. Kira surprises Baral in the temple as he is unlocking the safe where the orb is housed. In turn, Kira is surprised by the intendant, who holds her at gunpoint. The intendant mocks the Prime Kira, saying that the last 2 days have all been an elaborate hoax, and that the Mirror Baral never cared for Kira and was merely using her. However, Baral has a change of conscience. A change of conscience? You mean a change of heart? And stuns the intendant with a phaser in the middle of her taunts. Baral explains to Kira that when he looked into the orb, he saw Kira and himself together on Bajor with a family, building a life together. Despite what could be, he knows that he would soon find a way to ruin it, as he will always be a thief, and he belongs with someone like the intendant. Kira says that if that's the case, then he should go. Baral transports himself and the unconscious intendant back to the Mirror Universe, leaving the orb behind. And now I'm going to turn it over to the boss. Boss.
Wow.
Please tell me what you thought of Resurrection. And this is such a poorly timed episode. It's so disrespectful to the holiday. I'm sorry to everyone for the poor timing. It was definitely not intended.
Oh, because the word resurrect.
Yeah. Well, you know,
how can you know? Yeah,
it's not nice. Anyway.
Total accident.
So what'd you think of this Gong Show?
Well, first of all, you know my prejudice against Mirror Universe episodes anyway, right? I'm going to shock you right now. It's probably the one of these Mirror Universe episodes they've done that I hate the least. It's still not good. And here's why.
Okay.
It doesn't take place in the other universe. It's over here. Vedic Baral was never a character I thought particularly great or anything. I've always felt the actor likable. I have nothing against him. So I'm actually going to give them points that realize he's the first character from the DS9 version of the Mirror Universe that can be taken seriously as a counterpart rather than a caricature. He acts like the counterpart I would expect the Mirror Universe counterpart of Baral to act. He's completely different. However, Kira's counterpart, for example, is a cartoon. She's awful. She's unfunny. Everybody in their stupid DS9 Mirror Universe, all their counterparts are, except for Smiley. As bad as his episodes are, the O'Brien one, at least, there's some character to him. Everybody else is just over the top, stupid, unfunny, idiotic, right?
Minimus
is here. See what I'm saying? So they write him credibly. It's just not. It just I hate I hate the whole anything to do with the Mirror Universe. But since it takes place here instead of there, it's just one person from that universe until we get to see the intendant, right? And it's not a very compelling idea for story. In other words, if you brought a character like that, him or someone else, and had a better story, it might have worked. This just is about him stealing something, and it's all just an excuse to have another Kira romance with, by the way, the previous episode, she's already with Odo. They just like, it's almost like this episode takes place before that or something. It totally doesn't take into account her feelings for Odo. Like that she put those on check because a fake version of Barial shows up. So they lose everything. It shows the crappy writing on this show that you could, again, they wrote him more like a character than the joke that all the other ones are. But then they bring the intended in it, and she's so over the top and annoying. It shoots everything in the foot. There's nothing credible about it. So it just can't. It just sucks. It just doesn't suck as out loud as the other Mirror ones because in the other Mirror universe, I can't stop cringing every time I'm watching one of those episodes. How stupid and smarmy and over the top it is. This one's just kind of flat and dull because it goes nowhere. It has no really any particular intriguing story at all because it's just about her meeting a new version of Barial. In fact, he's more interesting than her. At least he's something like a different kind of a character who actually seems like a fleshed out character than just a joke like the intended or whatever. So I'm trying to be as fair to this show as we can. We try to be fair. He's the only thing interesting to me. Seeing Barial not being the Vedic, the squeaky clean like Vedic type guy, is okay. It's just the story is nowhere, nothing sauce. It's just like, whatever. Let's just get this over with. And it's dull because these people are not good writers.
It's true.
So that's the way pretty much on that. Go with your notes.
Oh, here we go. Kira in heat again.
Oh.
No, please don't. Why are you doing this? Please stop. No, stop. How did this idiot beam into ops? Horrible acting, stupid story. I don't care. Stupid. Who wrote this? Who is this for?
Hey, Brian Hepburn. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, hi, Brian. I thought Kira rekindled her Odo romance in the closet.
Oops. They had to put it on hold.
They were making goo-goo eyes.
That's over until next week.
Yeah, and what's worse is she says that all she has wanted is to be alone. I mean,
they forgot last week.
I mean, this girl gets more action than the town bicycle. They should name her Kira Pie because everybody has to have a piece of the pie. Anyway, huh?
Whoa.
So now,
wow.
Now what? What? Now she's bumping uglies. And not only are they bumping uglies, and we have to see these people scantily clad, but now they're also rubbing noses. They're rubbing their little noses together. They're like they're in love.
Sorry.
This is the Love Boat. Okay, this is the Love Boat. It's got a huge barf.
Oh, shit.
From one parallel universe to the other with zero effort. They could just do it now, no problem.
The revolving door. It's like, it's so stupid.
Yeah,
that's why I hate what they do with the parallel universe. It makes me so aggravated by it. I hate those episodes.
Yep. And then there's a whole bunch of dialogue where they're making fun of organized religion and religious people, and it goes on for several minutes. And
wait, you can remember dialogue from this episode? Jesus Christ, I can't remember anything.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. But it's important to remember that that Gene Roddenberry specifically got into a huge fight and talked about his fight with Michael Pillar in Humanist magazine about his unwillingness to make fun of religious people, to make fun of religion, and to do it in a way where it would turn off the viewer. He was definitely, he had his convictions. He was a humanist, but he believed in the Socratic dialectic. Now, he didn't articulate it as that. I'm articulating it as that as an academic, but I'm merely saying that he liked to present evidence and he liked to present ideas, and then he allowed the viewer to make up their own mind about it. So this is definitely an episode that Gene would have axed, especially all that dialogue where they're making fun of religious people. There is absolutely no way she knocked that guy out with one blow.
Oh yeah.
One blow? Come on. One blow? Come on. Come on now. Come on. I got red hair. I'm Irish, and I'm like almost 100% Irish too. Like I think there's like only like a little bit of a tiny bit of Viking in me. I think it's like 1.2% or some crap. I don't know. I need to look at my DNA report. Okay, so I'm Irish. Got the fiery red hair. I got the Irish attitude. I got the Irish dukes. I can put up my dukes. I don't advocate for violence. I'm just saying that Kira does not look like somebody who can knock a man out. She has zero upper body strength. She does not look like a person who could knock a man out with one punch, especially a big man. Stop that. Why isn't the Federation notified? Why isn't Starfleet notified?
About what? Oh,
why did they bring someone from a parallel universe with a machine that can take you from any parallel universe into any other parallel universe immediately? And nobody notifies the Federation. Nobody asks the Federation in its interference with the timelines of these other parallel universes. The Federation doesn't ask about the device. And same for Starfleet. And if you are a filth fan, and you don't know the difference between the Federation and Starfleet, one is the military and one is a collection of over 150 different planets with different governments. Anyway.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, it's just so... You know how I feel about the Mirror Universe on DS9? It makes me sick. And I can't stand any of it. So this one now, it takes place on our side of it, but it's still two people coming from it. It's like, why don't they have any kind of protocol against us now that keeps these people from just? Remember, there were previous episodes where they kidnapped kidnapped Jake or something at one point, or kidnapped Kira or whatever. So why are they able to just pop in willy nilly whenever they feel like it? Why? Shitty writing is why.
Yeah, and here they are busting Kirk's chops, saying, "Oh, it's all Spock's fault. It's all Kirk's fault." You know how many timeline infractions? And here these nincompoops are beaming in and out of parallel universes and being accepted as active citizens. And there's no threat to the safety of Bajor or Bajor, however you want to pronounce it, because people pronounce it both ways. But there's no safety concerns with the upper echelons of government, since it's Vedic Barile. It's the doppelganger. It's the twin. It's the actual. It's Vedic Barile. And this machine. Why didn't where is Starfleet?
Another thing. I hate it when you have to take a character and just, first of all, everything's stupid about the episode anyway. So this guy's got a chance to live in a universe like the Federation, the one he broke into, right? He could stay, but now I'll go back to the garbage, shitty, lousy Mirrorverse because I belong there. They don't even write a credible reason. It's just they always have to he chooses to go back. Well, who would choose to go back to that hellhole?
No one would. And why would Starfleet clear Vedic Barile, the actual parallel Vedic Barile, to return to Bajor as a thief, be cleared of all charges, be allowed to exist in this parallel, in this universe, and they didn't confiscate the contraption in question? It makes no sense. Starfleet would be all over this, and everyone in the Federation Council, the legislature of the Federation, all, Kirk said it was thousands of worlds. In TNG, Picard, Poopy Stew, says that it's over 150 worlds, but those are a lot of worlds that aren't concerned about a zap in, zap out parallel universe machine. And how all this is allowed, and no one talks to the Federation and no one talks to Starfleet, is ludicrous. Ludicrous!
David Rayborn. Cousin, what's up, David Rayborn?
Hey, cuz.
I got to disagree with you on one thing, Enigmatic Drop Air. I think the first one with the Mirror Universe is by far the worst. And I think all the ones that take place in that universe are such lousy, unfunny, stupid cartoons that they're so laughably bad. This one just bored me to tears. This one, I just think it's boring. But hey, you want to call it the worst? That's fine. You won't hurt my feelings because any episode with the Mirror Universe in any way is the worst piece of crap ever in a sense. So it's just that I think they're worse ones, buddy. That's just me. Hey, Katie! Katie Carr!
Katie Dax!
Katie Dax. Lovely to see you,
Lake?
Katie, dear. She says, hi, friends. Happy Easter. Just attended Holy Saturday Mass. Oh, great.
Good.
A bit tired, but wanted to chime in. That magnificent Ferengi is, that's next week, actually, dear. Top 10 DS9, cute, a little bit funny. A+, Moogie.
Katie.
Katie, yeah, that's actually next week, my dear, but there you go.
Well, boss, I have to say that I agree with Enigmatic Drop Air. I
Worse
actually
than that
think
first one? Oh, my God.
I actually believe that
This was just dull.
this is so bad it might be unrateable. Do you remember how I told you
Wow.
I had a glass of wine and I had those wonderful M&M peanut butter eggs that come out at Easter? They're just delicious. Highly recommend, by the way. And if M&Ms would like to sponsor this program and pay Clobby for me to continually talk about M&Ms, please get a hold of us.
Yeah,
We would like that. Anyway, I was in such a good little mood, and I watched this. Then I thought to myself, can I grade this? Can
Agreed.
I grade this?
I agree. Hey, ED, you're right. It's a quibble.
Like,
I still
Enigmatic
hate
Drop
it.
Air is correct. Like, here we are arguing about what is the worst, the absolute worst, and this is a part of the worst.
If it's Mirror Mirror, they all get an F from me anyway. So you know, and Mirror and the DS9 Mirror Universe, it's all F for me. So it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, I hate those other ones because this is just dull. The first one pissed me off so bad. The first one is the one where they blame it all on Kirk and Spock and Mirror Spock. And there's every one they've done is a piece of absolute dog garbage to me. Anyway, so what is your your rating of Res E Erection?
Oh, so it's definitely an F. I wish that there was something lower than an F, like maybe expulsion. Can I expel this student? What's this student's name? Just wait 1 second. I just want to check and see what this student's name is. The students in question are Michael Taylor and LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton and Michael Taylor, I'm expelling you.
LeVar Burton direct this one?
Yes. And Michael Taylor wrote it.
God.
And I would just like you to know that you're both getting an F, and you are, look, F is like an A for you at this point. You are expelled from my class. Get out. Take your shadow and be goneth. Leave.
Everyone, leave. Okay, so what is your rating? You get an F? I also give it a freaking F. So I hate this episode. I hate everything to do with the Mirror Universe that they've done. I just hate the other ones more. That's all. But you're right. ED, you make a good point. I shouldn't even bother like separating them. Every single one. What have there been, like 4 or 5? I'm going to throw them all into a complete DVD box set so that I can run over it with my truck.
With the Globoni.
I want to run over the freaking DVD box set of the DS9 Mirror Universe garbage. I hate it that much. It is in fact. If you proceed
out of range, you'll come
Are you starring?
Oh my God.
Our dear friend Kate, while you're doing that, our dear friend Katie does comment. Katie, we talked about you were cordially invited. She says, you were cordially invited is also in my top 10. Finally, Dax and Warf are married. Love their relationship and marriage. They both respected and honored each other deeply, and it worked so well. A+. Well, my dear, I love you, Katie. So I'm glad you weren't around. I hope you weren't around for our reviews of that episode.
We love you, Katie.
We love you. We don't love the episode, but we love you. But anyway, I'm so happy to see you, Katie, really. But that freaking look, everyone, I admit my bias. Mirror Mirror is my favorite episode of the original series, therefore it's my favorite episode of every Star Trek, all of them. I just love it. So I'm tough to please. I'm a tough crowd. But the DS9 Mirror episodes, and I think this is like maybe the fifth one or whatever, maybe something like that, 4 or 5, whatever. I hate them all so much. I hate every use of the Mirror Universe they ever try. And you all know I'm a big fan of Enterprise. I'm one of the few that doesn't like that one either. A lot of people love it. The Mirror Darkly, I have a lot of problems with it. It's okay, but it's better than this crap, but I have problems with it.
Better than this crap.
Better than this crapola from the, but, you know. Anyway, hey, well, Admiral Teague, Demons Doomsday Machines, right up in my top 5. Love it. Anyway, so here we go. All right, are we ready for this?
Ready.
All right, here we go. The great enigmatic drop bear right out the box says A+. This is my favorite episode of all of Star Trek. It is brilliant, beautiful, and wonderful. I wish Bareil were in every... Oh, sorry. Wrong. That was the Mirror Universe of enigmatic drop bear. Sorry, that was the Mirror You, ED. I'm going to read our universe version of ED.
Enigmatic drop bear. Should I give the captain some shin kicks? And then we'll just run off the bridge together? We'll shin kick him and then we'll run off the bridge.
I'm sorry, Edie. That was the Mirror Universe You. Sorry. Okay. He says, F this episode. I mean, F. Coincidentally, it's Easter Sunday here in Oz, and we're reviewing an episode called Resurrection.
Right?
Yeah. So I'm sorry about that, everybody. I'm not sure what was being resurrected in this story, but it was anything but miraculous. Well said. 23 minutes into this meandering, banal, cheap Friends knockoff, and I wanted to gouge my eyes out. This is Star Trek, not Friends. I gotta wait till she stops laughing so I can read this for you. Hang on.
I gotta mute.
You gotta mute. There, she's muted. Sorry about that, everybody. I love listening to her laugh, but I think you all want to hear the review, and then she can come back on and laugh. Finally, after 30 minutes, we find out what this story, quote unquote, should be quote unquote, is all about. The conspiracy to steal an orb and take it back to the Mirror Universe. Yawny, yawn, yawn. Agree with the yawn there. Over the next 10 minutes, Quark reads not Bareil's mind. Let's Kira know Kira busts not Bareil stealing the orb. Then not Kira arrives, but not Bareil has an epiphany and shoots her. Infantile plotting. Yeah, this is a piece of poo-poo. Sorry, ED. I messed it up there, but yes, it's whew, boy, oh boy.
We were on a break.
Let's see here. All right. Thank you, DD. By the way, I appreciate that, buddy. Raymond Feliciano says, A+. This is the greatest episode of all time. If you don't like it, you can... again, sorry, that was the Mirror Universe of Raymond. All you Mirror Universe people need to stop it. Get out of here with that damn thing. Look, I know it's easy to come into our universe with that little Mirror Universe YouTube device you've got there, but cut it out. I want to hear from our universe, Raymond, not the Mirror Universe, Raymond. Stop it. Because the Mirror Universe, Raymond, has a beard, but not as cool as the Mirror Spock's beard. So cut it out. Here we go. Now, our Raymond, damn it, not you, Mirror Universe Raymond, says, D. BDSM, what the hell? Oh, boy, maybe he is the no, he is the real one. Intendant Kira was the only thing keeping it from an F. Overile. Oh, sorry. We hardly knew you. The only thing we don't see is you getting deleted by the intendant. Okie dokie. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Raymond. I'm sorry. Oh man, there's so many F's for this review. We could have called ourselves F Troop. With some D's too, though. Like Shooter says, D-, the Mirrorverse, but not in the Mirrorverse. That's a plus, right? Maybe it exists, but it doesn't exist. Let's face it. The Intendant is the only reason these Mirrorverse episodes keep coming, and I'm fine with the Intendant. Okay, she's cute, but she's still annoying. At least I'd just rather have Kira. Rather have Kira, in fact. More romantic daytime drama. Shouldn't we be focusing on the war that's raging right now? Bareil was a good character, but isn't this a disrespectful way to revisit him? Next. I mean, in a good story, maybe not, but they don't know how to write a good story. So, yeah, I mean, it's garbage. The wonderful Jill says, F this episode. This was pointless. Waste of time. Pure soap. No one needed to see Vedic Bareil again, let alone a mirror one with Mira Kira and their magical unicorn dimensional transporter device. Very well said, Jill. Lisa said, F- this episode. Mirror Universe, it sure was a mirror of an A+ problem. Is Kira A plus, yeah, mirror of an A+, exactly. Problem is Kira sleeps with him. She beats everyone up, but has no strength to resist memories. Evil Kira in an 80s style outfit. Seriously, crap. Seriously? Crap. Okay. Eric K says A+++. I could not love this episode more unless it had Wesley in it, whom I love so much that I would watch 4 hours of Wesley in the Mirror Universe with Bareil and
No.
Oh, you try there. Will you Mirror Universe jerk? Stop it, please. I'm tired of it now. Here, the third time you've jumped in here with a mirror version. This time taking over for poor old Eric K. And what threw me off is we know he doesn't love Wesley that much. Our version loves Wesley, but not as much as that. So, Eric K. The Bronze Ranger says D-. All D's tonight and some F's. And not good like Lita's double D's.
I love you, Eric.
Wow. You didn't do that, did you?
I love you, Eric.
Wow. Eric, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. How did the Mirror Kira get on the station and no one noticed her on the appearing on the pad? How did no one notice her walking around? I does not know. It is so easy to pop in and out of the Mirror Universe. It's like a taxi service between the two of us at this point. You get an Uber to the Mirror. You can get an Uber to the Mirror Universe right now. Why did Kira not alert Odo to bring a team to the temple? A good question. Odo and Miles are jealous for sure. Kira's legs are open more hours at 7-Eleven. What in the hell? Boy, what in the hell is the matter with you?
It's so true. It's bad.
Claude Minimus says, F, what could save this episode? Sliders. I could use a good slider right now. Kal-El says, whoa, I've never seen, I don't know, have we seen this before? I don't know if we've ever seen this before.
I don't think so.
F-. By now, you'd figure that the Federation would have developed technology to keep the delinquents from the Mirror Universe out of theirs with the number of intrusions over the years. Wait a minute. I've never seen this little writing. Are you sure you're not a Mirror Universe of Kal-El? Okay, I'll take your word for it. I don't see a beard, but so Bareil, whatever you know. Bareil crosses over in search of a better life, and the first thing he does is commit a criminal act. Not a great start, but he ultimately makes up for it. By the end of the episode, I found it interesting that Kira tells Cisco that she can distinguish between the Bareil from the Mirror Universe and the Bareil she once knew. It's not long before she sleeps with him so much for that claim. It's no surprise that Quark sees right through Bareil and clues Kira in on what he was up to, given his own activities over the years. I'm normally a fan of the Mirror, no, it makes one of us, universe, as I do find the concept fascinating. But now it's like a DS9 has become like the Scooby-Doo cartoon, unmasking a different visitor from the mirror universe each time. Once again, let's see. This episode is easily skippable as it does nothing to contribute to the overall narrative of the series. Boy, howdy.
Okay,
Got that
so
right.
let's stop for 2 wags of a puppy's tail. I just want to ask everyone in the chat. Kira has been on DS9 for 6 years now.
Mhm.
That's what it's supposed to be happening, right?
Roughly,
it's like
yeah, sure.
It's like 4 to 6 years. I would need to go
Okay.
and check the math, but it's like
No,
4
no,
to 6 years.
it's-
I
no,
want
it's
you
6
to
years.
name every person who she's been in love with and who is like who she's been with. Go ahead.
Right, I have to. I'll let some of you shippers do that because I don't. I mean, I know what you're saying, but I don't. You can tally it up by the time get to the end of the reviews here. So wow, another look, man. This is going to be a record F's right here. F from Sandra Feliciano. I thought this episode was awful. Doing a mirror universe once in TOS was okay. The rest seemed to be grasping for straws. Besides, what happened?
That's the chat. I don't know why it's doing that. It should not be doing that.
Why did that happen? Okay.
I have no idea why.
If it was that easy to hop universes, it should happen frequently. I think it happens too frequently, but I hear you. Thank you, Sandra. Michael Beacom says, F, not a great episode night. Yeah. Director LeVar Burton, who said it was the first time he saw a mirror universe story. What? Dear LeVar, it shows. I want to see what script they rejected to film this one. Wow.
Wow.
So do I.
That's really bad.
F says simply Steve 68. No loyalty at Kira. How high is Kira's body count?
Right?
With the no means yes trope, Kira Miller Mira Killer, Kira, Mira Kira, God damn it. Not embroil attempt to steal, then forget about what they went there for at Alt Universe. Okay, boy, dude. Thank you, Stephen. And our final review of this episode, thank God. The chief engineer, the great Mark D with a C, who may pop in whenever you're ready. Oh, there he is.
It could be worse. It could be raining.
He says, A+++++. This is the greatest episode of all time. If you don't like this episode, you can bleep my bleepity bleep bleep because it is the most fantastic thing you're ever going to see. Bareilles' performance is nothing short of Shakespearean. He's the greatest character. I wish he'd killed Cisco. I wish he killed Cisco and became the captain, moving up by assassination. And man, I wish this episode were a 5-parter. Says the that's the last time one of you mirror universe sons of bitches gets through here. Stop it.
Where's Chef's review?
I don't know. I thought you said something
I'll
earlier.
look for it.
Mark D says, F this episode, quite the clunker. When DS9 is bad, it really is gong show time. The story has no point, goes nowhere except to give Kira another smarmy romance. What is easier now in Trek, switching universes or time travel? DS9 is linear order is not holding up to peak Trek standards. Boy, howdy. You know, I considered like starting my review out about how much I love the episode, and I couldn't do it, as you can see, like when you started reviewing it. So I decided to do it to everybody else. Because
I found Mr. Angel's review.
I don't think it's here.
He started with an N.
Hey, Stunt Brat's here. Why don't you tell me these things? Stunt Brat's here.
12 because I don't see that, and I also don't see Mr. Angels. It's been my chat has been like refreshing where it goes completely blank and then it returns.
Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Stunt Brat, good to see you, my dear.
Where's Stunt Brat? I don't see you, Stunt Brat, sweetheart. Hi, baby. How are you doing? I love you. You know I'd say hi to you.
I know.
What the heck is going on here, man?
It's the Mirror Universe. People keep getting out of there. And Ingback just says, Mirror Clobby, get out of our stream.
Oh, okay. Well,
I couldn't even lie about this one being good.
Just flashed, and now I see Stunt Brat, but I don't see.
Look who's here. Maddie's daddy's here.
I see Maddie's daddy now, but I still don't see that.
I put it in the private chat if you want to read. I'm looking for it on the. I see it on the YouTube side, but I can't find it on the StreamYard side.
On the StreamYard side is acting completely insane tonight, Mark.
Yeah, it's
good
weird.
to see it. Good to see you, Steve-O. Okay, so Okay, well, Mr. Angel said 6 months. That's a members chat, though.
Eric said that he's
Nope,
posted
no way.
it
Oh, I think that
twice.
means it's rating N. I think that's 1255 N. N as in
Maybe
nope.
that's an N. I don't know. Nope. Yeah, nope. No.
N
That
is
no way. Fire, full spread, claw boning torpedoes, and shin kick. Phasers, clobber thingy, shin kicks. It's 45 minutes of my life wasted and on Space Love
Space
Boat.
Love Boat.
I'm getting the feeling some of you people don't like this episode very much.
That's so
Thanks,
weird,
Eric.
Mr. Angel. It's in the YouTube side, but not the StreamYard side.
It's not in the StreamYard
All right.
side.
Our friend,
Yeah.
our lovely friend Katie says, crap. I'm sorry. She says, no, she didn't say crap. That was me saying I lost her.
Katie would never say that. She would never use such
No,
language.
Katie would not say that. I lost your I actually hit unstart it, Katie, before I put it up there. That's why I said crap. No, I know you wouldn't say that. Maybe she said the only scene I remember in this is Dax and Worf in the beginning. I despise sadism in Star Trek, especially most of Mira. Even though it is a parallel, it still distracts from the Roddenberryisms. That's a good point. But see, I love Mira because it doesn't do that. It shows a bad version of everybody, but it has Kirk walking around through it the whole time. That's why I didn't like it on Enterprise, when you didn't have any good people in that episode. People love In the Mirror Darkly. Actually, as much as I love Enterprise, that episode doesn't have. I mean, it's fun looking at all the uniforms and the Defiant. That's cool, but there's no good protagonist in the episode. Everybody's a Mirror scumbag.
And then also in the original Mirror, you get that hope. You get one of the greatest speeches in all of television history at the end between Kirk and Spock. So that's just phenomenal.
There's the thing. Yeah, yes, you see, most of these characters are fairly thin in terms of characterization, talking about the Mirror people in the Mirror universe. But that's why you only get to see Mirror Kirk for a short time in the other versions. And you do get Mirror Spock, but he's very nuanced and very well written. Of course, brilliantly played by Nimoy. Every time you see the Mirror universe people on this show, not only do they blame Kirk, which automatically makes him garbage, they're all over the top, except for, again, O'Brien, the character of Smiley, actually you could believe him being a parallel version. Everybody else is a rotten, nasty monstrosity, idiotic fool. Thank you, Eric K, for that. Appreciate that, buddy. Welcome new members, absolutely. And then in this one, Bareil does act like a normal person, but you have to bring what's her face? What do they call her again? What do they? I always forget what they call her. Dumb idiot.
The intendant.
The intendant. I just call her the cat in heat.
Yeah.
Incontinent.
She's so over the top and stupid. And every episode of the Mirror stuff is just trash. On Mirror,
that's a trope they do with actors to give them, something to,
Yeah, they think it's funny.
Chew on, chew scenery, quote unquote.
You're right.
To get that
ridiculous
bad version.
I would not want to be
true.
Nana Visitor because they turned her into a cat in heat. In this show, imagine if she were a teenager, she'd for sure have mononucleosis at this point. She'd have mono for sure. Think about every single person who she's been in with, or she's been with,
she'd have
in the
Spurpees.
parallel universe and in her proper universe, and all of the characters who she's locked lips with and had all these intimate scenes with. It would be weird going to work when you're thinking about how many of the people on set you've had an intimate scene with. It's just ridiculous. It's no reflection on Nana Visitor. I'm sure she's a wonderful human being, but I'm saying, like, you turned her into the town bicycle.
Yeah, everyone's at a ride. DJ Ronnie G.
DJ Ronnie G.
Hey there, good to see you, buddy. So anyway, we got through those 4 episodes. What now? Say again.
I was gonna say, what was the average of the episodes? So did you give 3 Fs in a D?
This might be the most effed episode I've ever seen as far as ratings. But again, I hate the other mirror ones.
Did you give it all Fs? I can't remember now. It was so long.
No, we had some Ds.
You had some Ds, right?
But I don't know if we got any more than that, any higher than that. We got a couple of them that were a little higher, maybe, but it did not. I don't think this one went above. I guess I'd have to go check later.
Oh,
but I don't think this one went above a D. Maybe there were a couple of people, but I can't remember now. Did it? Maybe a C here and there.
I did a D for Favor the Bold.
No, I'm talking about this one episode we just talked about.
Oh,
And
this, but the whole tonight.
oh
all
no,
tonight,
tonight,
Mark,
yeah.
Mark, I
tonight.
gave a D for Favorite of the Bold. I gave a C plus to Sacrifice of Angels. I gave a C minus to You Are Cordially Invited, or Cordial if you're American.
Yeah, yeah.
A C minus, and then Resurrection I gave an F.
A pretty bad average there. Yeah, yeah. Pretty bad. Yeah.
Look at
You're not going to want to
Lisa's.
send that
look
report
at
card
Lisa.
back
She
to your
was
parents.
D minus, D, and F minus. Wow.
Yeah.
I was C minus for the Favorite of the Bold, B minus for Sacrifice of Angels, F and F for the last two.
Wow.
F
yeah.
was a bad night. Hey, your sixth season ain't looking good. Now you need to pick this up, boys and girls.
I did like Sacrifice of Angels, but yeah.
It's okay. I mean,
yeah.
yes, I mean it was the least annoying sack of crap to the other ones. I mean, it was better than the other ones.
Oh yeah. And the space.
We got some spaceships.
Yeah, I put all those spaceships in the overlay. That, if you want to
Look
show
at
a
some
couple of those.
spaceships, folks. I like them.
Those are gorgeous.
Well,
Yeah,
like
that's
the
for
space
Wolfie
But
and our
ship.
ship.
F-boy Odo just doesn't work for me. He's an F-boy
F-boy.
here. And she actually says to him
yeah.
at one point, go back to the room and wait for me.
Oh.
And and what's going on there, right? I mean, it's just what?
Oh,
The
what they
brown
do to
sea
his
cucumber.
character in that episode. I mean, it was so out of character. I mean, who was running? I mean, the only thing that saves it is these ships on this episode is gorgeous, 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 and this is the fan upres, which is great too. So someday, hopefully DS9. I think at some point when the technology gets so cheap, they can just upres it, and fans are doing this. But yeah, Odo was just so out of character. It made no sense. I was like throwing stuff at the screen when I'm watching it. I'm like, how could you do that to the? And you think that I guess that you can't blame the actor. I guess they can only say so much. But you think, Renee, he would come out and say, guys, what are you writing this, or at least have the other founder mind meld with him or take him over, do something so that he acts out of character, kind of take control of him to try to make some sense out of his actions, because he was just he's jeopardizing his friends he's been there with, and he's been fighting this rebellion.
I totally agree with you. And Simply Steve is saying Odo is a dodo. And the thing is, the thing that makes me crazy about all this, Mark, is that there are people on record, people who actually have an audience, people on record saying that this is like the third best out of all Star Trek.
Sacrifice of Angels? Are they out of their minds?
It's given. I think it gets a 9.5 out of 10 on IMDb, or a 9 out of 10 on IMDb. People really, really love it. And the thing is that, and I don't want anyone to take this the wrong way. Please do not get upset when I say this. But it's very obvious that a lot of people are more on the pew side, like they don't mind a Star Trek that's a little bit more like Star Wars. But for me, I can't give it a 9 out of 10 like other people do. I can't say this is the best of DS9 because exactly what you've just articulated. What in the HE double hockey sticks is going on with Odo? Why are they destroying this character only to make him flip-flop for absolutely no reason? It makes us lose all trust in our trusty dusty sheriff and his pragmatism and his rationalism and his kindness. He becomes this cruel, obtuse dingbat, a gearbox, a nincompoop, and it like how
it's like a teenager that got lucky for the first time and went crazy. I guess I don't know, but he's been in the link before too, so it's not like he hadn't experienced that before. It's I think because this episode has a lot of closure to it, and I gave it an A-. So I did like it a lot, but I understand your points, and those are all valid points, and I guess maybe I'm some of the starships won me over too. So there's some really good stuff in this episode, but the bad really detracts from it. I would never rank it, and it never would be in my top.
There are way better episodes of this crap.
Yeah, then it would never be in my top. I guess some of it maybe was just you're ending that part of the Dominion War, although it's not over. It's the the sixth part, I guess. So it's and you've got the death of Ducat's daughter, and it's pretty tragic in the end the way it ends up. So you do feel as much of a villain and evil guy as you do have some sympathy for him, and the symbolism of the baseball. There's some really good parts to it, but yeah, overall, it's there's a lot of flaws there, a lot of flaws.
Yeah, GT Kirk is just grossed out. He just says, "I just don't even want to know. I don't care. I'm just grossed out."
Well, next week we have 4 more episodes, folks. By the way,
we do.
What were you saying, Mike?
Nice. Well, I was gonna say the one good thing, I had some extra time, with getting a little bit ready for the holidays. I said I got to go through, and I found that script search for Star Trek. There was a search in it. There's a search engine in it because I never go to the homepage. I'm gonna post the page here. So I said, let me search for all the instances of Ram in Star Trek.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
So that's how I found it. So I don't know if you want to play that montage or not. But
where is it?
If you want to,
there it is.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we have a special treat for you.
Oh
Thanks
no!
to First Officer.
Well, it's actually Ram.
The Chief Engineer. So write your hate mail to the Chief Engineer.
Oh,
Here you go.
D-Bud.
What?
Just D-Bud, plug your ears.
D-Bud, sorry. Here we go.
Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh.
Wow, it's evil.
I hope you all enjoyed that.
6 is here. Beautiful 6.
Hey, baby.
Time to see that.
Sorry you had to see that. Great to see you, 6.
So thanks to the power of the computer, I was able to find. I went through all the episodes, the old ROMs, and clipped them all. So those are all the old ROMs and DS9.
Oh my god!
I'm working on O Miles next.
Yeah, man. Oh man,
I think that'll get some good use.
All I can say is,
oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh.
That her voice at the end, the last one. Oh
that's
my goodness,
that's horrific!
How did you do that?
Never do that again. Oh boy! Wow. What a run! But this might have had the most horribly low rated episodes we've ever. If you add it up, I may have to go back later and see how many. Just the one episode. I'm just gonna forget the 4 episodes. That last one.
That last one.
We may have been other episodes that got that many. 6. That was a character that from Deep Space Nine. That's a lovely lady who says that a lot, and people think it's annoying. Which she says, "Oh, Rom." It's hard to explain if you hadn't seen the show. But yeah, it's pretty disturbing.
I love you, hungry boy.
What do you do now?
Yeah, he's making me laugh.
Oh my god! Whimper is making me.
I can't even.
Oh, especially doing a Roger Rabbit.
I can't.
Oh, we have a request there. We have a request.
Hey, 6.
Oh God!
I will have to do the
$10
Claboni,
to say it one more time.
One more time, 6,
Oh,
just for
baby.
you.
Honey, what are you
All right,
doing?
just for you. Hang on. All right. There we go.
Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh.
Thank you for that super. Thank you for that super chat, 6. You're too kind. I love you. Thank you so much, my dear. Hey, Jay Picasso. Welcome.
Hey, Picasso.
Maybe 6 wants to hear the new Claboni too. The old Miles and Rom Claboni.
Please. Sweet baby
She didn't want to
Jesus,
see that.
no.
Go ahead and play it then.
All right.
Wow.
Here we go. Here we
Oh,
go.
Rom. Oh, Rom.
Clabberin, then choose Clabberin. If you proceed, Clabberin, you come.
Can I resist
Oh
that?
my
Yo, Roms to
God.
that one.
It's bad for the ears there. Jay Picasso, good to see you though. He says, went to see. I just got back from seeing Super Mario and with his daughter and loved it. Yeah, people are really loving that. So I'm glad that.
Yeah.
I'm glad Mario fans got something they want. That's my kids grew up playing that game. I never played it much, but yeah, I mean, Hey, Michael Beacom, have a good one.
Good night, Michael Beacom.
Take it easy, buddy.
He's doing Michael Beacom.
Mike- Oh, you made me laugh too much tonight. The best, see, when we have hate, I'm beginning to enjoy the. I hate to say this because look, everyone, we're very honest when we hate an episode or when we love an episode. We're very honest, but having Raquel hate an episode is too much fun. It's like, oh my god. Yeah. Oh, and Jill loved it as well. Loved the Mario Brother. A lot of people saying nice things about the Mario Brothers movie. So, yeah.
Chef,
This has been-
Chef says his ears are bleeding.
Yeah, we've been awful tonight, haven't we?
I just can't.
Oh, the
Oh
Easter Bunny's
my
not showing
God.
up at my house in the morning. I've been very naughty.
That's it.
No chocolate rabbit for you.
It's so funny.
No dance tonight.
Just can't believe it.
Yeah. Wow, what a bunch of crummy episodes. And we're supposed to love in this show. We're horrible human beings.
I liked
When
what
does it get
Eric
better?
said. I liked what Eric said at the top of the show. Because I faced that alone before I met all of you. Like when I was on Facebook and I was only hanging around in my own circles of the people who live in my area from my university and from academia and so when I met all of you, I was free to express my opinions in that way, in a way in which you can't really do on Facebook, and you're meeting more Trekkies, right? But yeah, I've always watched in a linear fashion, and so it reveals a lot. And I'm just shocked that so many people really, really love DS9, and that there is even scholarly evidence of aggregated data from different types of polling and different types of questionnaires that have been performed by academics in reliable ways that say that that depict this really, really strong love for DS9. And I just I'm going to stand by what I've said all along. I don't think it's the finest Star Trek product. I don't even think it's even close to being the finest Star Trek product when you look at it as a whole, and you watch it in a linear fashion.
Sorry,
Oh,
I was
no,
gonna say,
no.
do you think it's some of like a bunch of people start saying the same thing and
I
then
know
people
what it
latch
is.
onto it?
Yeah,
No, I already
I
know.
think so.
I can tell you what it is. Let me tell you.
Sure. Oh yeah, God, I want to know. I got
Yeah.
to know.
It's basically very simple. A lot of people. There's a lot. First of all, it's a really good cast. There are a lot of people. They don't look. Let's just be honest. Not everybody goes into anything for all the same reasons. In other words, Raquel is very hardcore about what Roddenberry wanted Star Trek to be, and I am too. I'm right there with her. That when my love of Star Trek, it also derives from it being wonderful entertainment. If it was not good entertainment, then who cares what he's trying to preach? I mean, it's got to be that first because it's a TV show first. If it doesn't engage when I'm younger, I don't understand everything. When you're younger, sometimes you may not understand exactly what's going on, but it has to catch you somehow. So when it catches your imagination and your sense of adventure, the things that we go to Star Trek for, and then as you watch it over and over again, then you start reading about it from behind the scenes. If you just watch the show all the time and don't know who Gene Roddenberry is, and don't read up on Gene Roddenberry and things he says and things he does, you just think it's a good show. And it's fine. You like that show. There are plenty of people say, "Oh, I'm a huge Star Trek fan." When you talk to them, they don't know who Gene Roddenberry is. They know who William Shatner is, but they don't know.
I've watched a few of the movies.
They liked it, and that's lovely. That's fantastic. But the people who go into the fashion that someone like Raquel does, and many of us do, you get to. Sure, she likes it as a TV show. Sure, she enjoys all these the base elements as we all do, the entertainment value, the characterization, the stories, the ideas. But when you get into it on a level that she is into it, and I am, and many are, it's not everyone. Not everyone is into it for that. Some people just watch it for a lot of other reasons. They don't necessarily need it to be slavishly devoted to what Roddenberry wanted for them to like it. I'm not with them, but a lot of people are like that. They want it to be good entertainment. They want it to be good. If it's in the context of a science fiction show, they don't care if it's pure science fiction all the time. And so you have this show that works well as drama a lot of the time. It has very good cast, good characters. And yet it takes it down a different road than all the other Star Treks. It goes into the space drama, intrigue, political stuff, the war, the characterizations. Scotty, hello there, Scotty. Welcome. Good to see you.
Hey, Scotty.
And a lot of people get into that. The people do get into these characters, and I think a lot of it is that people simply want a bunch of characters that they can get into, that they can relate to, that they can enjoy, and if you capture their hearts and minds that way, then they will stay with them and they'll watch it. And they don't watch it as one episode very often. They watch it. Usually these episodes, you could tell early on that it's trying to build towards something, especially when you get into the later seasons. And once they finally, if they stuck with it and they watched all 7 seasons and they really liked all the better drama, all the better aspects of the characterization, if they like it as a whole, as a 7-season lump of a big long saga, then they're not going to tend not to break it down into minutia very often, into the parts. We're breaking it down into the parts, and we're judging it part by part, piece by piece. How many episodes are of the show? Raquel, how many episodes of DS9 are there?
176, boss.
176. We're breaking them down.
I don't know. That took you too long to answer that. Are you really a Star Trek expert?
Yes, she is. So I think people like a lot of the aspects that are there. They like a show that is about a slice of life in the 24th century in a Star Trek setting that isn't always, and like Shooter says, yes, Clobbering Times, I think that's why I like it. And look, there's nothing wrong with liking it like that either. I'm not judging anyone. I'm just saying that's where I think that when they say I love Deep Space Nine, they're not saying I love it because of these 5 or 6, 7, 8, 9, 20 episodes. They like the show as a total. And then if you break down some, what did you think about this episode or that episode? They might look at that as an individual, go back and watch it, and come back and tell you, yeah, that was a really good one. But on the other hand, this one here was kind of, because this show is about building blocks. The original series is not about building blocks. TNG is not about building blocks, heading towards some end game like the first 2 seasons, like TNG or TOS are. Even Voyager's not really that. Even Enterprise is not really that. Even the animated series is not that. And the movies aren't that. DS9 is the only one that is a soap opera.
Yeah.
So, and I like the show, but people like a soap opera. That's why I think people love, when they say they love Deep Space Nine the most, it's because they like the long game saga type of TV show. Some people do like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the characters save it too, I think, and the actors. If you had bad characters and bad actors, you get, I was first watching it. I stopped watching it, actually. I love TNG. Eventually, learned to love TNG. Of course, I grew up on TOS. So I guess, for some people, this is maybe the first Star Trek they watch. So I hated the linear aspect of it. That was kind of new at the time too, and almost all TV is linear. And I think some people are finally saying, "Hey, let's get back to more of the episodic TV." But there's a lot of episodes that are not sci-fi and not exploring, and it's part of the nature of maybe being on the spaceship. But a lot of clunker. I mean, when you're going back and watching this in order, I mean, maybe I was just picking you watch some of the good episodes, but there's a lot of clunkers in this show.
I want to answer this real quick. No, 6, I do like it. I'm just saying, I'm more into a more episodic type of a show. This is a more continuous, like a space opera drama. I'm simply saying it's not the format that I prefer. I like TNG as well, and yet we criticized TNG on an individual episode level as well. I do like it though. So go ahead, Mark.
It's well done TV. Yeah, there's some episodes I loved, and there's it's that different slice of life in the Star Trek universe. I guess if you're on a space station, this is what you're gonna get too, and you just. But it's the war stuff and the all the stuff with the prophets, and there's a lot of it that I really don't like. But I'm not saying it's not bad TV, but it's just stuff that I don't prefer. But then in addition to that, you do, like tonight, you get some really horrible episodes when you watch them and watching them like, oh my God, I don't remember watching this 20, 30 years ago. Wow, this this is
Yep.
bad.
What I was specifically addressing is why you hear a lot of people say, and it's perfectly fine, that that's their favorite iteration of Star Trek. I'm simply saying some people do like the long game form of storytelling and prefer that, and they don't mind it if it's just mainly a science fiction setting that isn't pure episodic science fiction. That's not what they're there for. Even though they might like the other Treks as well, some people like this one the best. That's not any kind of a condemnation of anyone liking it the best or it being anyone's favorite. I'm saying some people, that kind of storytelling appeals to some people more than others. And I'm only saying that's why you will hear people from time to time saying Star Trek Deep Space Nine is my favorite Star Trek. They say it all the time. And I'm not judging that one way or the other. I'm simply saying, I'm explaining to you why you hear that from time to time. And if, if you like that
great
kind
explanation,
of
I think. Yeah.
That's just my opinion of, again, I don't want anyone to like Scotty, dude, there's nothing to be triggered about. I'm simply saying, if you, that's my assessment of why I think some people like it the best. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's why you like it. Not everything appeals to everyone in the same way. Mm-hmm. But to me, Star Trek should be the way, for me, Star Trek's best the way Roddenberry intended. Personally, a ship having episodic science fiction involved adventures with a great crew out exploring space and exploring ideas and the human condition and all that kind of stuff. That's what I love about Star Trek. Its original intent. And that's Roddenberry's intent. Even TNG was intended that way. DS9 is not that intent. I hate it. Just saying.
Oh, the doctor.
And Voyager.
The scholar. Oh, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
I was just going to say real quickly, yeah, Voyager, when Voyager came out, I'm like, oh, I love the idea of the show. It's getting back, you're back out in space exploring. The ship's on their own. It's going to be more like the original TOS series. And, not knocking DS9 per se, just me personally, I like that kind of stuff more. And I think, DS9, again, they had some fantastic episodes combined with the great acting and characters and good writing. The relationship between Cisco and Jake is phenomenal. End up really liking Nog. So, yeah, we're not, we have fun with some episodes in the chat and everyone, maybe knock, some of the silliness. And, every show has some clunkers, quote unquote. But for me, like when I heard about Voyager, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome, out exploring again and getting back to that. But yeah, it's it's hey, whatever you like too. Don't ever let people tell you what to like or not to like. Or my favorite baseball player was Greg Nettles growing up, and people would tease you. My cousins would tease me all the time, and I think once in a while I'd hit a home run when he was up. But he's my favorite player, and that's it. And whatever you tell me, that's not gonna change. So always stick to what you like and what you enjoy. And someone tells you shouldn't enjoy it, don't listen to them. Just go watch it and enjoy it. It's life is too short to. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to tell an answer 6. Says, what if Hard Season 2 is my favorite Trek? Is there something wrong with me? Then, no, not at all. I would never, I'd never say that to you without getting a running head start. I mean, I'm just kidding. No, 6. Like I said, I may not be able to understand why anyone would like that the most, but hey, as the kids say, you do you. And you ought to be ashamed of yourself for putting me in a position like that, 6. Damn it. Oh, number 1.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that the scholar who was doing the research on it, he performed 3 different types of survey instruments to gather his information. And then recently they were publishing some of the feedback on Reddit. And, there were many users who backed this idea that DS9 is the least Star Trek of all of the iterations of Star Trek. And that's why it appeals to the newer fans and why people say, quote unquote, that it's the best Star Trek of all. And so I do find that odd, I find that very, very odd that people would like. It doesn't make very much sense to me that somebody would say, okay, so I really, really like Shakespeare, but I don't like Shakespeare. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. Maybe it's just because I have a different way of thinking than some folks, but I find that bizarre. It's like saying, the reason why I like Edgar Allan Poe is because this is the least Edgar Allan Poe. You're like,
Yeah.
what? Um, so the expressions of liking it because it's on Trek, I just find really super weird. The bottom line is that like, we all have to also be responsible for our brains. Like Carl Sagan says, we have to be responsible for what we put in our brains. So it's super important too for us not to behave like nincompoops. At one point, we do have to realize that somebody is being used. If you like science fantasy and you enjoy the entire like soap opera type of science fantasy, I think you should be brave enough to publish it under your own name. I think you should come up with your own name for the show. And I don't think you should use another author's idea. Don't use another author's name, and don't use the original author's show name. Just come up with your own thing. So for me, I guess, like you were saying at the top of this conversation, that I'm a steadfast Gene Roddenberry fan. Well, I am, but I'm also a steadfast fan of every author and every creator. And I think that if somebody creates something and it's really their baby and they have very strong opinions about it, to the point where they go to universities and they give symposiums on it and they give seminars on it and they give lectures on it in university, and they're trying to get this humanist access, this humanist aspect of society, and this idea that mankind will overcome and mankind should have hope in itself. And then some other people come along and say, well, I want to write something that's completely opposite to that, but I still want to call it Star Trek and I still want to use Gene Roddenberry's name.
Yeah.
I think that's the ultimate fraud. And I think it's cowardice. And I think that, corporations get away with it and stuff. But I think the bottom line is that, you can't be a fool. You do, like, even if you do like it, I think you should understand the transaction and what's happening.
Agreed. Yeah.
So
But
anyway,
some-
that's
I think a lot of them just don't know.
yeah.
They don't do the legwork that you do, or that a lot of people do about it. They just think it's a good show and they like it.
Yeah.
I think most people that will say that they like for example, they might also like the original series in TNG, but they watch these as television shows, and they think that's the one that's the kind of entertainment they like the most, so it's their favorite Trek. Not insulting them by any stretch, saying they don't dive into it the way you do. They don't really look into it and say, well, how many of them even know? I mean, some of them, like some of the more hardcore fans, know a little bit about. I know Gene Roddenberry. He created the show. It says so at the beginning of every episode. He created every episode, but I don't think they go beyond that. I don't think how many of them have actually read the interviews with him and read the things he's written and the things he said, where he says, "This is what I want my Star Trek to be," to the point where they can watch an episode, whether it's TNG or even DS9, and go, you know what? That's a little in contradiction with what Roddenberry wanted. How many of them, at the end of the day, take that into consideration or even care about it? You and I do.
True. You have to be a smart consumer, and I think that this situation is only going to get worse as we see corporations getting together, these psychologists and marketers and these screenwriter people to all sit in a room and to recast the product in the corporate image and to get away from those stories. And so, if you really love an author and you really like the ideas that the author is putting forward, it's important to recognize what's being done to you, and why you're consuming what you're consuming. So
absolutely. Good night, Lisa. Happy Easter to you.
good night, Lisa. Happy
to get out of
Easter,
here.
sweetheart. Don't forget to post millions of pictures of your food. And Stunt Brat, sweetheart, it is so good to see you. I
Yes.
just absolutely love that one of the stunt women from Star Trek shows up here and is our friend. We just love you,
Yes.
Stunt Brat. You're a sweetheart of a lady, and I hope you have a wonderful Easter.
Before we start wrapping it up, I will say to Steve, to Kal-El, because this is important. He says other people's opinions on anything that differs from mine doesn't upset me. I only draw the line if someone insults me personally. For my opinion, respect is a two-way street, and that's something I hope we always establish here. Other than some some good-natured ribbing about opinions. Well, I want everyone to always feel like they can express their opinion here. That you will be treated with respect, whether we agree with it or not. How many times have we read it? Have we almost every time when we have an episode, we have someone who gives it an A, and another one gives it a D or an F. I mean, it goes up and down, but all opinions are not only respected here; they're sought after. We're glad to have them.
That's right.
And so, we're glad to have you. So, yeah, we might now look if you can't have a sense of humor about it, less kidding you about it if we disagree, then I can't do much for you there because we like to have because they are TV shows. We got to have a little fun.
Yeah.
But no, all opinions are welcome here, except for Mark D. He has to agree with me. Both we're telling myself.
I have to agree. That's in my
But
contract.
that's in his contract.
I get blamed, and I must agree.
It's blamed, yes. Six says, you guys are way more into Trek than I am, but listening to your review, TNG made me, appreciation increased tenfold. Well, thank you. Love listening to your deep dives. Appreciate the passion the hardcore fans have. Six, thank you so much, my dear. You were wonderful.
Thing to say,
Yeah.
baby.
Thank you, Six. You rock. I appreciate you, Six. Thank you so much. It's always so wonderful to see you here, and it's so great to see you all here. We're going to start making our way out now. I'm going to do some show notes, and we'll do some shout outs. First, we'll get some final remarks from our guests, of course, the great Commander R.M. Briggs. After we get this, let's get this super chat. Thank you, Eric K. Thank you so much. What he says, yes, we all respect people's opinions. We may mock and ridicule Clobby for his Wesley love, but we respect him. Yes. Well, look, if you can't mock and ridicule me, who can you mock and ridicule? I say. But thank you, buddy. Appreciate that.
What are you going to add to the Wesley Shrine tomorrow?
It'll be a rabbit, a rabbit Wesley, a chocolate Wesley rabbit. Final words from my wonderful first officer, Commander Briggs. Go.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for having me, everyone, and everyone have a wonderful Easter. I want to thank each and every single person who joined us this evening. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for supporting this show. Thank you for bringing the best conversations on YouTube to this channel. We love engaging with you, and you are all so articulate and passionate, and great conversationalists. Thank you, one and all. Each one of you makes this channel and this show great. We're nothing without you. I also want to thank the Wrenches. You guys, like over the last 2 or 3 years, you've really gone out of your way to become such good friends to this channel and to other channels, just working so hard behind the scenes, promotion, doing posters, sharing things on socials with the production stuff, running the chats. You guys are the unsung heroes of YouTube, and none of this stuff would work without you. I mean, you're just it. I just love you so much, and I appreciate everything you do for me, for Clobby, for all of us here. I want to thank Mark for joining us. It is so good to see you and to hear your opinions. It's nice to have the caboose and all of the silly little extras that you've added to the show, even though somewhere D. Bud Martin is sitting in an easy chair wearing ear muffs. I just want to thank Clobby. Clobby, I love you. You are one of the best friends I've ever had. You're just such a special and wonderful man. On behalf of everyone in the chat, we adore you. Thank you for creating this space for us, for Trekkies to come together to talk about this show that we love, to talk about this author and the thing that he created and this whole cultural phenomenon that has occurred, all due to him. I mean, we're here because of you. We love you very much. So thank you for this space, and thank you for welcoming all of us into this space to celebrate Star Trek. And I think that's about it, folks. Maybe I'll call out my Patreon subs. My second book is coming out, and I just want to thank everyone who has backed my second book. Larry, Tony Stark, Sean Carter, Cardinal Sin, Shooter, Chris Persia, Scuba Pete, Eric Kane Kirby, Enigmatic Drop Bear, Michael and Cassandra Beacom, Mark D with his C, Jilly Jill, and Maximum Redstone. Thank you Love you guys. You know what? Keep episodic science fiction alive. Keep it alive. Keep it alive.
Thank you so much, Sean Carter. And thank you, number one, by the way. Sean Carter, thank you so much, my friend. He says varying opinions and the respect for them and to those who have them are what make great discussions and progress possible in all aspects of life. I could not agree more, Sean. Thank you so much. By the way, here are the episodes for next week, folks. There you go. Let's see here. What? How do I back your next book? Says 6.
Check out the Patreon link that I just posted in the chat.
Yeah.
Oh, the Patreon link's in the chat there.
6, you remember
Patreon.
with my first book, I released each of the stories individually, and then I have one story, the 10th story, that only goes with the collection. There's no other way to get it. I'm doing the same thing this time around, but instead of publishing them to Amazon, I'm publishing them to the community first. So if you join my Patreon, you get to read the stories before they're going to be published in the book. You'll get them before the public does. And I hope to have that book out and available, published, printed, and ready for sale by December. Fingers crossed. I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, last time it took me 2 years to write the book. Now I'm trying to do it in under a year. Let's see if I can do it. So, yeah, thank you.
There you go. There you go. So, Mark, anything before we start?
Well, first of all, yeah, thank you. It's always a lot of fun being here.
Thanks for being here with us.
Chat,
Thanks for
everyone
helping
is
us.
so amazing. Thank you, Raquel, for those kind words. And Clobbering Time's always awesome to be able to hang out with you guys on these shows. Just so much fun. Happy Easter to everyone. Happy Passover, for those who celebrated Passover earlier in the week. And things are going well. Got to see Grammy and Grampy today and had a good early Easter with them. On the show front, I actually started a Patreon as well. So I've got my first 2 Patreons are Brian Hepburn and Shooter. So thank you. Big shout out to you guys for that. Much appreciated. So there's going to be some giveaways on there. And I shall put the link in, and you can get the Doomsday Machine and some cool mugs and some stickers, and just another way to communicate with everyone and hang out with everyone, which is a lot of fun. So looking forward to adding a lot of stuff on that and on Patreon, and during the week, looking forward to. We'll see. Hopefully, this next week some better episodes next week. We never talk about them beforehand, but hopefully there'll be better episodes. But even if they're not, God, we have so much fun hanging out here. It doesn't matter, right? So thank you for it was fun to put together those clips. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I'm not responsible for any hearing loss, however. We play that club only. But thank you, and happy Easter again to everyone. Have a great, fantastic, blessed day tomorrow. For those of you that
Mark
celebrate.
makes beautiful things.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
Show notes before we do shout outs, folks. Let's see here. Of course, Mark will have I think we're having the are you still having the
yes, yep. Sunday night we'll have
Sunday night
Easter Geekery. Yes, we will. Yep.
Please come hang out with us 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Mark's Sunday Night Geekery. Hang with us. It's a lot of fun. If you have been there, you'll love it. On Mark's channel, of course. And let's see. Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. I got a double feature Monday night. And that is, of course, at a special early time, the great J-Man will join me for a trip back to Earth B. Another Bob Haney review, a Zadie Haney presentation, The Wacky World of Bob Haney. This time it'll be Brave and the Bold number 134 from 1977 with Batman teaming up with Green Lantern. Well, sort of. Anyway, it's a bonkers, another wacky, mind-boggling tale by the wackiest writer who ever wrote comics. And then, of course, I'll be on after that at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And, of course, Wednesdays and Thursdays we're at 9 also. That's that's for the wild card Wednesday night, and the 9 o'clock on Thursday night's Clubhouse, and of course every Saturday night here, Saturday Night Star Trek. So we'll shout out first our great wrenches, and then we'll shout out everyone who was here, because everyone gets to shout out on Saturday nights. The great Eric K, the Bronze Wrencher, the great Chris Persia, Vindicated Wrench of the North. Thank you so much, buddy. G. Bud Martin, the Wrench of Iron. Lord Thoth and Lady Thoth. Avon lives long, live the Legion, my friend. The Wrench without fear from Earth Beach. Amen. Master of the Clabboni, artist of the cover of Science Fiction Tales by R.M. Briggs. Hungry Boy. Stephen Cal L. Buddy. All right. The Super Wrench. Wielded of Wrench Mjolnir, Betty's Daddy, and the Fanty Outsidery. Of course, I always shout out to our truck dog, the Pupper, because with the Polymeats minion.
And now pepperoni.
The Pupperoni. And so now let's see. Let me shout out all of our friends who were here with us tonight, because that's the way we roll up in So
Cajun Man returns.
Just the way it is. Yes, indeed. Let's see. Our wonderful friend and communications officer, anti-derivative Jill, was here. Jill, love you. Thanks for being here, dear. FKHC 2005. So sorry again about your loss for the kitty cat.
Yeah, awful.
Sorry about that. Yep. Let's see your shooter.
Pew, 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 pew.
Raymond and Sandra Feliciano.
King Dolphin TV.
In color. Let's see here. Classic Comics, CC. Mr. Angel. Chef. Let's see. Simply Steve. Thank you, buddy.
Steve.
The great Michael Beacom. Good to see you, my friend.
Cassandra Beacom.
SP4H.
Hello.
All right. The great enigmatic Drop Bear.
Oh, you were terrific tonight. Good night, ED.
Hey, Katie Dax. We're so glad to see you. Hope you have a wonderful Easter.
Yep.
Thank you so much for being here, my dear.
Yep.
Excuse me. JT Kirk.
JT Kirk.
What she said. Largo's Lair.
Ooh, Largo's Lair.
I think she had to run, but we shout out anyway. The lovely Lisa.
Lisa.
Keely Chow. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
John Sherry. Rupas.
Reggie.
Rory. Herc. 130.
Hooby-dooby. Hooby-dooby. Hooby-dooby.
Victor Fontaine.
Nick.
Midnight's Oblivion.
Midnight's Oblivion.
Phantom Boomer.
Boomer.
Makini Draws popped in.
Okay.
All right. The wonderful Cassandra Beacom even said hello for us.
She
To us
did.
earlier. Yeah, Mighty Orbots.
Ooh.
Dave C.
Dave.
Parker Lucky. What's that? Parker Lucky. What's that, Matt? I can't remember the whole name, but it's a complicated name, Parker. But Parker, nevertheless, thank you for being here. Thank you for popping in. The great Dave Bob was here. Yay.
I said Dave Bob was here.
Sean Carter.
Sean Carter from Mars.
Wolfie. Captain Infinity and Beyond.
Captain Infinity and Beyond.
You're not an Axamander Bear.
You're right.
Lenrod.
Lenrod.
The Woke Breaker.
Woke Breaker. He's a
Therefore-
Woke Breaker.
Woke Breaker. Monkey Jeebus.
Monkey Jeebus.
Admiral Teague.
Good night, sir.
Minimus Primeness.
Minimus.
Brian Hepburn.
Night, Brian.
Dave Rayburn. David Rayburn, not the cuz.
Happy Easter, cuz.
Stunt Brat 77. Stunt Brat, so lovely to see you there.
Love you, honey. Thank you so much for stopping in.
DJ Ronnie G.
DJ Ronnie G.
The lovely, beautiful, magnificent Six. Love you, Six.
We love you. Thank you so much for supporting Clubby and for those marvelous Easter gifts. You're a sweetheart. We love you, honey.
Jay Picasso.
Jay Picasso would like me to say pepperoni. Pepperoni, pepperoni, pepperoni.
And Scotty R37. Scotty. Okay, well, everybody, thank you so much for being here with us tonight. We really appreciate it. You're all just fantastic. What a wonderful crowd. What a great night. Everyone, please have a fantastic Easter Sunday. Whether you celebrate it or not, whatever you do, eat a big chocolate rabbit, do whatever
Lady
you got to do.
Mist!
But good night, everybody. And clobber on, clobberers. Good night.
It is green. Ah.
Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom. Oh, Rom.
Clabbering, then proceed. Clabbering, if you proceed.
Get those nerds! Nerd! No!
It's clobbering time! I just love clobbering time!